James Mark Hammond. I don't have any. How would I have any documentation?
Okay. Through this.
How many players do you have?
For tomorrow?
No, tonight.
We have a 14 on the list.
There we go. 2. That's what I want to know.
We are setting people up for tomorrow night.
Okay, great.
Michael D. Michelle in for tomorrow. Eric Warren.
Do I have a video release, please?
Here's a blank one right here, right? No.
No, that's not. You didn't make copies?
I did, but then I gave out the last one before I made more.
So you didn't make copies. I made them.
So you didn't make copies.
I'm gonna hurt somebody.
This is how I felt all day.
This
is how I felt all day when Collins walked in and said, "So we still don't have table audio?" I wanted to I was gonna sit.
Yes. Use it like a cash, but no cut it back, no cash back. You cannot use that on the market.
I got critical error. Dude, I'm freezing back here.
Yeah, it's cold as hell. Okay. Okay.
Well, I can do that.
Yeah, that's Collins that time. But Stu was the one who kept getting the camera. Is it out of order? looks like he's good. All right, I'm gonna get the card from here.
Craig's coming. I got you set up on 2 headphones on 1. Okay, mic check 1, 2, 3. I sounded marvelous as always. Just talk, John. Let me hear how I can hear you.
Banana Frosty.
Move your mic piece up there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello, world.
Interwebs?
Interwebs.
Yes. Hello, interwebs.
Hello.
Via Twitch.
Greetings, series of tubes.
All right, we're good.
I'm not ever touching any of that.
It doesn't matter that you have it. I mean,
Can I put the 100 on? You can win it first.
yeah, but like
Alright,
I mean,
yeah, I guess it's whatever.
and the game might end where the
Should
button's
we
on me.
tell them that we're playing this song?
I don't know.
empty spot.
Testing 1, 2.
With you on here. All right. So it's BellagioPOTS, episode what?
67.
All right, episode 67.
Season 2, episode 3.
Yes.
S2, 2.
It's episode 3. Okay, cool.
Technically correct.
All right. Technically correct.
Best kind of correct.
Welcome. Wow, the game's already in progress today. Welcome to Bellagio Poker on the Strip, a.k.a. BellagioPOTS. I'm your host, Dallas Scott, my co-host, Mr. John Harden,
Hey, hey.
and the boss man, the director of Pretty Boys in Tight Suits, Mr. Craig Lump.
Ooh. Gloves are off early. First hand of the night, gloves are off.
Oh, well, we got set of sevens
top
over
two.
king. Ooh.
4 flush board.
Four
not
flush
gonna
board,
be
not going to be a
bunch.
lot of action, yeah.
Looks like it went check on the end. We'll never know what happened before now.
And then 200 and
Actually, Craig, today you're looking a little chill. Did you just wake up out of bed, or are you watching football this afternoon?
Hey, man. I mean, you're just right in. Just right in.
I've never seen you look like this before. You normally the hair's all combed, and I'm worried about you. Actually, I want to make sure you're not sick or anything.
I'm going after your radio look you got going.
Haven't you seen the billboards yet?
Craig,
You got a billboard now?
Yes.
Oh. Little known fact that Dallas Scott's side gig is when he's not commentating on POTS, he's got a little radio show.
A big radio show.
Big radio show. It's big as asking.
Yeah. All right, looks
No, for
like
real, you got a billboard?
yeah,
Where do we see this billboard?
just two. I don't know where they're at, and it rotates like all the shows on the radio station, so you have to be driving by at the right time.
Oh, I'll drive by it a couple times. John
You
and I
sit
can
there and
do
wait.
after this.
Sit there and wait on the corner for
when
it.
he figures out where it is, he's going to cause traffic jams just to make sure that everybody gets
John, you and I-
cycled through.
I'm gonna stop and take a Facebook Live video of it.
John, you and I are going for a ride after this.
All right, you got me.
All right, so tonight's game is actually this should be a lot of fun. We have
Heavy hitters here tonight.
we do
10, 20, 40 blinds, no limit hold'em, $1,500 minimum. The maximum is the roof. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to buy
I
in.
think
for.
everybody bought in for between 10 and 20,000 tonight.
So they got the button game going on too.
Oh,
You
okay.
want to explain to the viewers what the
Oh.
button game is, guys?
Okay, so the button game is where if you notice the button, it's not on the felt. There's money under the button. I'm not for sure how much they're putting on yet, but we'll find out. But if you don't win, only the button can win that money.
So if you win a pot on your button, you win
get
the
that money, right.
under the button.
Right, but it moves to the next person. They add the money to the same amount of money. I think they're playing hundreds, or it looks like they're playing 40s. So the button puts 40 on. If they don't win, the next guy puts 40 on. So now it's 80, and so on around the table.
Little
I've seen
progressive?
Yes, I've seen these button games get really nice stacks under them, which makes the buttons play hands they wouldn't normally play, even in position, to try and win the extra $400 or $500 in the pot because they're getting. What do you call that?
Overlay?
Yeah, but it's kind of more, they're more like overlay is good, but I was thinking like inflated pot odds because you're kind of like jackpot players. They get these inflated pot odds. Well, I can play this hand because I might hit the jackpot.
We got our first card reader offenders for the evening.
Josh and Brian O. Okay, so in the first seat we got Josh Seeley. That's your buddy, John. What you tell us?
Yeah,
about
he
him?
reached out to me on Twitter. Apparently, he's made a name for himself playing the big heads-up no limit hold'em games on the WSOP.com website. I can only assume he's a relatively successful player doing that. Reached out to me last season trying to get on the stream and finally made it.
And of course, next to him is Brian Oken. It's Oken, right? Oken. Brian Oken, regular Bellagio player. Brian is kind of like a mystery, though, his style of playing. He kind of mixes it up quite a bit.
There you see the chat. Somebody tell Dan Jordan his mom wants him home for dinner.
Meatloaf and lentil soup.
Sounds good, I'm in.
I'm like, can we all come? The 3 seat is Ron Cordy. Ron is a local. I don't want to call him a businessman because he's retired now. He sold 7 car dealerships.
He's a working man. He's a working
2 bars, 2 casinos. He's trying to enjoy retirement. He said poker was his hobby, but when he started doing it all the time after retirement, it kind of got bored to him. So now he's just a philanthropist. I'll tell you about some of the organizations he's got going on, some of the cool things he's got. We'll talk about him later on in the afternoon. Who is in the 4 seat for us tonight?
That's a good question.
The 4 seat is Stu.
Stu.
Stu's another regular Bellagio, I hate the term grinder, but he's a regular Bellagio 10, 20,
Familiar
24.
face.
Yeah.
Familiar face.
Len Ashby is in the 6th seat. Len is one of my favorite characters in all of poker. I'm sure he will.
Len is at all times the funniest guy at the table.
Always.
Just ask
always.
him, he'll tell you.
Well, when have you ever seen Len and he's not made you laugh? Like
That's
he's
true.
yeah,
He is capable.
I've known Len a long time, and I think he's probably one of the best pot limit Omaha players I've ever seen. He plays a lot of nosebleed levels there. Yes, always prefers to play pot limit Omaha. Or pot limit Omaha, excuse me.
Matt's opened up front with the 2 trays, gotten called by a pair of the blind players with mystery hands. He's got an under pair to the board. Let's see if he's going to c-bet here. Looks like he's just going to pick it up.
All right. Who's in the 7th seat, John?
DJ, Dan Jordan, the one who's late for dinner. He was on one of our 510. Or did he play the 10-20-40 at the end of our stream?
He's been on a few of our streams before. He's been on a couple streams. Yeah, he's very good, friendly to the stream.
Get our producer Harry to check out which show that DJ played on last time. But he did play in season 1. Yeah, he was season 1.
Yeah, he played in a couple of streams season 1. Actually, isn't he the guy that Elliot Lesra buffed all of his chips off to before Elliot?
Yeah, like the first hand.
Yeah. And then Elliot went on a ridiculous heater and won $20,000 after that. Matt Moore is in the 8th seat. Matt is
Your NFL career is over. You're done.
Matt is a poker player's poker player. You know what I mean? He's always having a good time at the table.
No, I don't know what you mean.
We got 5 deuce of clubs. Did Ron call 120 with the 5 deuce of clubs?
Yeah, folds to Josh. He opens the 6-7 of clubs. Call.
Nothing was Leon left. That was like
in a row.
That's all time. Leon left.
Let's see, Lynn's got the queen 10 off. So.
Lynn calls 4th in. Matt regrettably lets go of the 8 tray offsuit.
Ace king 4. Lynn's got a gut shot.
Who was it? It was Don Beebe. Yeah, it was Don Beebe.
Josh declines to c-bet into a 3-opponent field.
So in the 9th seat, we have Joe Tehan. People who watch tournament poker know Joe Tehan. He has $4.4 million in live poker cashes.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
That's a huge
All right,
number.
I got trivia fact for you.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
One of our
this
properties
guy, it was worse.
did Joe Tehan win his first WPT event?
Can I make a guess?
Let me guess. I'm going to say Bellagio.
I'm going to say Mirage.
You're both wrong.
Mandalay.
Let's see if the chat can figure it out. So you guys are both wrong.
We're both wrong. Okay.
So Ron flopped a wheel draw and fired. Got called by the mystery hand in the 4 seat owned by Stu. On the button. No joy on the turn for Ron, and he checks it.
No.
Was it on this coast?
We'll come back to that after.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone in the chat can.
The only other place I can think is Mandalay. But
So Stu bet the.
There was one WPT event.
there's only one there?
Held at Mandalay Bay.
Okay.
And Joe Tehan was the winner.
Leon let one Don Beebe, right?
Sorry, chat.
Oh, what? Which one am I thinking of? There's one on Thanksgiving Day.
Dolphins, but it might have been against the Dolphins.
You're thinking of the same play, but it's. I'm pretty sure it was against the Bills in the Super Bowl. They were already blowing him out.
Oh, the Super Bowl, but there was also a play against the Dolphins.
There was also one on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
We're debating football history here.
I think there's a discussion about survivor pool upsets in years gone by.
I would imagine these guys probably had some action on a Sunday.
In fact, Len said that if we really want to hear him go off, we should have started this 3 hours earlier when the Kings were still going.
I kind of wish we had.
I witnessed a little bit of the discussion during the Packers game about the results of what were they playing? The Bengals. If the Bengals won, it was going to eliminate like 190 people from their survivor pool. Brian opens up front with the 2 queens.
Gets called by Ron with ace jack of hearts.
Win on the button is going to come along with the jack 7 off.
Well, Joe's waking up the other 2 queens. We're going to play a pot here.
Joe out of position here might be thinking 3-bet. There it is.
There it is.
It's a big one. Looks like about 860.
Brian's not folding here, right? Not in a cash game.
It looks kind of squeezy putting that 3-bet in to 3 opponents.
I want to know who the other guy was. Leon left. Like I remember the one in the Bills, Don Beebe runs down.
That wasn't Leon left.
Yeah, preview Super Bowl. Someone else was
John, what's Brian gonna do here? What do you think?
I think his least likely outcome is calling here. He doesn't really want to play a four-way pot with two queens out of position. You know, the only I think it's Ray's fault.
That clown did today was just unbelievable. I mean, when you know.
How deep is Brian here? 6,100. The Joe's definitely covering.
He got tired. Maybe he got tired.
There it is. 4-bet.
When he rips in about another 3,000 there.
22, 2,300, 2,400.
23.8,
Yeah.
23.80 maybe.
Yeah.
Ron's gonna get out of the way.
You put
Ace Jack's an easy
you
fold
put a
there.
third of your chips in the pot. You're playing for all of it. I can't imagine he's gonna put 2,400 in and fold.
We got just a question in the chat there from Sonny Jack7 called on the button. That's correct. They do have the button game on, so there is some extra equity if you happen to win the pot on the button each time the pot is not won by the button. They're putting in $40.
I think it looks like $40. So
a little extra equity.
but
That's,
only the person on the button can win that money.
Yeah.
So you'll probably see a couple really loose calls on the button, especially as the stack builds.
To be
When
fair, Lynn was third into this pot with the
Right.
Jack 7 and he's on the button. So
What do you start the hand with? You got 4, 6, say about 6.
6K, put it in, boys.
And run it
Put
twice.
it in, run it twice, and see if
Yeah.
we can get.
Somebody can flush out.
Yep. Put it in twice. Let's see if somebody finds a way to win 3/4 of this one.
Oh yeah.
Joe just told me he's got a pair, which means
Chop
Brian
it up.
loves his hand.
That's a chop.
And these cards are tripping me
Clubs are
out.
cheap, so for the next boards. No, they're not. There they are. So
live.
Joe's free rolling club.
All right.
That's chop chop.
You were in here.
Those boards are almost the same. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
you said no phone? I wasn't here. I didn't know that. Can I have my phone back? So I
Is
can
this
put it
a
in my
slow roll
pocket?
from Brian here?
What are you doing?
It is a slow roll from Brian. For a half second there, I was thinking our card reader was
That's
incorrect.
wrong. That's what I thought. I
We
thought
were
maybe I was
sitting
like,
here in
maybe
the
he's got
office.
jacks, and
We were sitting here in the office like, oh no, it's going to be a long night. Please, you know, it's not often you legitimately root for the slow roll, but that was one.
That was a good one.
Here's the thing.
I was so scared there for a second. I had a way bigger sweat than Joe.
It's a little bit more socially acceptable when you only slow roll for half.
Right.
I mean, is that true?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think so. I mean,
Here's the thing.
that's a fun slow roll. That's all in fun. That's not malicious.
There's only a couple people I go out of my way to slow roll, and one of them happens to be in the office here, Mr. Cordesi. Any opportunity I get to slow roll the gentleman is taken up.
Just for the fans at home, Harry is our moderator on the chat. He's our information guy. He's the guy, one of the guys behind the scenes that makes this happen. So if we got a question, we need stats, we go to Harry. He's also keeping an eye on the chat there for us.
Yeah, he's also the victim of me slow rolling and attempting to kill his hand whenever possible.
Is this in the home games?
Yeah. Tens of dollars at stake.
Yeah, but that's what I said. He can run out of flush.
It's not about the money.
It's not necessary always
It's about
going
the
to be a chop.
just malicious feelings.
You had me fooled.
Yeah, I thought you had like 10.
In a perfect world, you're playing a split pot game, and you get to slow roll him for only his half. You're not slow rolling the guy that's winning the other half. That's when it's just
So
absolutely
back during the NBA semifinals, I don't think I'm gonna tell which one of these guys it is, but there was a big Twitter frenzy over one of these players that offered 80-1 that the Cavaliers would not lose a game to Boston.
that they're
and
going to sweep Boston. In
He
the
offered
second
anybody who wanted the action 80-1. Wow. And that was the night that Boston won their one game against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I can't imagine.
And like a
an
true
80
gentleman,
spread price.
how do you turn it down? I mean,
Yeah.
And he paid up. I mean, he paid up a lot.
Well, you got it.
There's a rumor that he lost $80,000 on those bets in general.
Can't imagine it. I'm surprised it wasn't more.
I wish I'd have known about it because I probably would have taken some of the action.
Did he think he was? Did he misspeak and think he was saying Golden State and he actually said
No,
Cavaliers?
To be honest, Boston shouldn't have won a game against the Cavaliers.
Fair
You know
enough.
what I mean, like,
But 80 to 1, it's a big number.
yeah. Uh-oh, Matt's on the button. He's going to try and make a play. Oh, he's got ace-4 diamonds, but he's also got the button money in play.
Fold due on the button in this game. It's pretty much a green light.
120.
You can win 4 times as much money.
Josh
as the
is not going
blinds.
to defend with a 9-8. Is Brian? It would
It's
be
the
great if they had the
7
7-deuce game on too, because then it would be really.
Do we know that?
I don't think
Deuce
we do.
game on?
No.
Not that we're aware
No,
of.
no, because Brian's showing the 7-deuce. He's not
right.
defending there, and Matt gets to take down the money in the button. Looks like about 180 bucks, 160 bucks. So now Joe starts it off again. Oh, it's 100. Oh, I thought it was less. Oh, actually, I think the first person in puts in 100, then everybody puts 40 on top after that.
I flop them, yeah, you burn. Why do they burn still? That's a good question.
Just procedure we have anytime you're putting out another up card.
Just always burn. You're in the habit of burning.
Consistency
Here's
is the way to put it.
the argument I would make is it'd be a lot easier for a dealer to accidentally burn where they're not supposed to burn than to. I'm not phrasing this real well. It's
really.
just second nature for a dealer to burn. So.
Are we talking about burning cards between a flop, turn, and river?
On running a second board.
Oh, on a second board. Yeah. Because
So it's just consistency.
it's
Yeah.
yes, 100%. How do you like running it twice, right?
In the long run, it makes no difference. Matt Moore gets to open a second pot in a row here with the 2 aces. I'll get back to that thought in a minute. Joe declining to put in the 3-bet this time, just coming along on his button with the mystery hand. Looks like they're going to be heads up.
Where's Brian 7-deuce this time? Looks like a bet of
Small bet.
yeah, 120, 140. Our wonderful producer, Miss Leslie, out there explaining to people where to put their cards on the table so you guys can see all the cards. That's a raise.
That is a raise. Matt might be hoping he's up against the King X kind of hand here.
Right. He's gonna 4-bet here though, right?
Bet 3-bet?
Yeah, 3-bet. He has to, right? No, he just flats.
Yeah. You can get a check raised in on the turn, maybe on a.
But with
Queen's
it by
river.
him just calling there, that's a bad card with the check for him. Because if he's putting Joe on a king, queen, king, jack, king 10 kind of hand.
Yeah. On this flop, I mean, you kind of think you're in one of those way ahead, way behind kind of situations. There's not a whole lot of 2-pair combinations that are logical on that flop, but a couple of them do come in on this turn. Let's see if Matt can put the check raise in here, if he's just looking to get the showdown with the 2 aces.
It's a bet of 920.
About a pot size bet.
Oh, Joe flopped a set of deuces.
Way ahead, way behind.
There you go, man. Talking like you're doing a good
Undefeated.
Looks like Matt's just going to try and get the showdown as cheap as possible. They're both.
And in Matt's mind here, he's got to think that it opens up his bluff range, right? Because he has the button.
That Joe has the button? Yeah.
You think so or no?
I don't know if it opens
He
up
can
his
play a
bluff
little
range.
bit wider combination of hands, but even of the wider range of hands he's going to play, outside of king, queen, or flopping a set,
Win the Super Bowl when they come here, boys.
you know, there's a lot of
Vegas
speculative
ready.
hands that he beats. If he, you know,
I mean, obviously he beats any king. other
King,
than
pick
king,
up a
queen,
flush
ace,
draw.
king.
Oh, I know. They were bad for like last
They're finally up to
6 years.
man. You see Marshawn Lynch getting criticized for doing it
2,200.
last week.
I saw him run over that off.
2,200 and do about 3,000.
That's a good bet size.
I like
Oh, that was the week before.
Joe's doing his best. Pouty, please don't call me face.
What's going through Matt's head right now?
Profanity.
I don't think he's putting him on a set of deuces here. Maybe he's more
Outside
worried
of
about
a-
a set of sevens, king, queen.
Outside of a stone bluff, I mean, you're only beating Jack 10, Ace Jack, Ace 10.
But,
what other
but Joe's
bluffs?
not
You know,
raising there with
On
Jack
that
10 on
flop?
flop. Yeah, he's not raising
Yeah,
on the flop.
there's just not a lot of logical bluffing hands. 7-8. Is this attorney? Unfortunately, we do not have the shot clock on. We afford the players the time to make the decisions they deem necessary.
This is kind of a tough spot for Matt
This
because
is a
Joe
brutal spot.
raised pre-flop and
No, Matt opened, Joe just
right,
flats.
right, and then Joe raises on the
Raises,
flop.
bets turn, bets river.
Yeah, he's fired 3 bullets in this, and
I don't know how active Joe is in these games normally to where
he's
he'd be
very
capable of 3-barreling with something that, you know, one pair beats.
Matt's folding. He just picked up
Wow.
what he just saw what he needed to see.
Great fold.
Great fold. Great fold. He picked up something on Joe right there and decided he was beat and let it go.
That's a fun game. Put 3,000 in and give up on the end with 2 aces. King 8 of diamonds. Possible.
It's a great lay down by Matt.
I mean, Raggedy King's basically the only thing he's beating. Joe blew a gasket with 2 jacks there.
No. Well, I mean, once Matt calls the pre-flop or the raise on the flop,
The turn bet's
Yeah.
the most compelling thing.
you know he's never there with jacks anymore. Especially when the queen comes off, he would have to check back there with jacks, or just really try and stone cold bluff it
Yeah,
there.
just trying to get the showdown with middling hand. Matt might be a little relieved to have not found a hand after open the 3rd pot in a row. Josh on the button, opening. Looks like the standard open today is going to be 120, 140.
Steal with ace
Stu's
club.
going to defend with the steel wheel draw.
We haven't seen one of those yet, have we?
Straight flush?
Yeah.
Not that I can recall.
We've had
got a
quads
good
on stream, right?
We've had quads more than we should have on this stream. It makes it look like it's easy. Quads and sets, like. Stu's gonna call. I'm guessing. Let's put a club on the turn just to make it interesting. Oh, no, in spades. If Josh bets it, no, he
Check,
checks. Queen of clubs. I can't imagine Stu's calling this. There's a lot of hands that Josh could represent there on the button. Queen, jack, king, queen, 8, you know, nothing that he can beat.
There's a lot of accidental pairs there on the button.
Yes. Well, we know we could have 8 9s or, you know, maybe even 8s and check back a set there, hoping that Stu would get froggy on the river.
We'll never know. 10, 20, 40, no limit hold'em.
I'm your host, Dallas Scott, my co-host, Mr. John Harden, and the director of poker and race and sportsbook operations, Mr. Craig Lump.
Very well done.
Are there that many?
Was that the first time he got it right?
No, he's you know he's
He's practicing at
he's
home,
two
hasn't
he's
he?
2 for 30. My question is, how many AMs are on your business card?
Multiple.
Yeah. You should just get an alternate one done.
Oh,
Matt,
Matt is
poor
waking up.
poor Matt.
Yeah.
Another big pair. Maybe you should get an alternative business card made that just has the word "and" on it. No,
I don't get it.
don't
Stu
either.
is going to call. He's probably calling here on the small blind with King Jack. No, he's folding to Matt.
Yeah,
And
Matt's
Len
opening.
folds.
Matt's opening pretty early here. You give him
Yeah.
credit for a pretty big hand. I'm sure Matt's much happier with that outcome than.
So
They're losing 3,000 in a pot.
So Matt's picked up aces and kings and lost about 3K.
Yeah.
He did win the button money though, so he's got that going for him. So that's nice.
We're gonna have a nice little busy Sunday afternoon.
Sunday
here
night
at the Bellagio.
football.
Did anybody catch the score up there in the top screen? Should I admit that I don't even know who's playing the late game today?
The Raiders and the Redskins are one late
Raiders,
game.
Redskins.
The soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders.
That's right.
Much have you made off doing that?
Today's the first day I think I've ever gone 0 for 4 in football picks.
5 figures, right?
Are you trying to give a sports betting bad beat story?
No.
Okay.
No.
He just did.
Showing hands.
It's hard to go 0
dollars,
4. Like,
Yeah, 5 figures easily. Yes. Yes.
it was a weird week for football this week, though.
I made like.
The Redskins are up 21-0. See, that would have been my 5th bet. I'm glad I didn't put that in.
We've gone 0 for 5.
0 for 5. Oakland -3 looked good against the Redskins. I don't even know, like.
Yeah.
Folded to run on the button. He opens the 8-6 of diamonds, gets called by 2 players in the blinds with 7-5 and Jack 10.
Jack 10's flopped a gut shot here.
Backdoor
8-6.
flush draw.
Yeah, real cheap.
And check
Gonna be
around
2
here.
jacks to Ron, and he's gonna
Ron's
see
gonna
bet it.
bet.
He
bet
pretty
wins,
much
right?
pots it right here for 400. Dan declines to peel with the gutter, and off to the next hand we go.
So,
And Ron wins a button.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Converse is $1.
so like I said, Ron's a local Vegas retired businessman.
Although
He came to Vegas in 1973 after he got out of the military. Yeah. You know, he used to deal table games at the Tropicana.
No kidding.
I knew that actually.
Yeah, he sold real estate during the day and then dealt table games at night until he could buy his first bar casino, and he just kind of built it up since then. But something that's kind of cool that I learned about Ron today is that so a few years back, we had national headlines here in Las Vegas where 2 police officers were killed at a Walmart by a mentally disturbed person. So Ron, along with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, has set up a charity where he puts in $50,000 a year and gives 10 children of police officers $5,000 scholarships.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
That's awesome, right?
Very cool.
$75 a hand. It's like, what the heck?
I like it when rich people give back to their communities. You know what I mean? Like, I do. I think it's. Joe's got another mystery hand. Oh no, he's got 5 deuce. Got a backdoor flush.
Backdoor
straight
steel wheel
flush
draw.
That's right. He could make a backdoor 6 eye flush. Straight flush.
We'll never know. So next couple weeks we've got we got the PLO week. Is that next week?
That's October 8th and 9th. No, I'm sorry. That is October 22nd and
8th and 9th,
23rd.
we've got the 5-10 no limit again.
5-5-10 no limit. The 22nd, 23rd, 5-5 PLO. The 5th and 6th of November, the 5-5-10 no limit hold'em, and November 19th and 20th, 25-50 no limit hold'em. Minimum $2,000 buy-in, but nobody's buying into that game for less than 10 to 15,000.
Actually, I was talking to Josh. He said he wanted to come back for that. And he said, you know, it's no big deal. If y'all need to make it a little bigger, that's fine. 50, 100, maybe 1, 2.
I have a feeling that we might get some 25, 50, 100, 200 going on that day.
Yeah,
That'd be an acceptable
Ron actually
proposition.
talked about that today too. You know,
Oh, he
like,
wants to
yeah,
play too?
yeah, he played 50, 100.
Let's get a little $1 and $2 game going. It'll be fine.
That's for us to play, right? We'll invite the players to come commentate on our $1, $2 game.
That we should do. We should flip it up. switch it
50
up one
cent
day.
a dollar.
Yeah.
My best offer.
They can bag on our play.
Yeah.
We got a
We'll
3
get-
bet from Len on the button here with the mystery hand. Stu's going to have to defend after opening the 9-7 of clubs. Heads up to a flop.
The rake was insane. Yeah.
1 club, king jack.
No real joy for the
Len can probably buy this with a C bet.
Baccarat 6.
Yeah, it was like.
And he folds. Oh, Len had ace queen.
Yeah,
Got a flop to get
legitimate
you.
hand there on the button.
Leslie's scolding Len there for not putting his card in the right spot. Len is from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
We've known Lynn for a long time.
I used to see him when I spent a little bit of time down at the Beau Rivage in Biloxi.
Yes.
Actually, his old home casino was the, what did they call it? The Horseshoe.
It was the Horseshoe.
New Albany, Indiana, southern Indiana, right across the river from Louisville. He was a fixture there as he is now here.
True story. One of the first times I tried to play Pot Limit Omaha, not online, but in the actual game, Len took all my money.
That's a believable narrative.
I went down there to play a circuit event.
Yep.
Cash took that money to try to play PLO, and it was low stakes. So I believe it was like 1-5 or 1-3 or 1-3-5 or something, something like that. Yeah. And
that game got big enough.
yeah. Pot Limit Omaha is still my weakest game. Like
Here's the thing, and Lynn will be the first one to tell you this. All you got to do is get there.
right. And it's so easy in Pot Limit Omaha.
Yeah, Lynn, that's me, Ashby. That's his name.
Queen 10, tray
Missed
flop.
the action here. Looks like DJ opened his button and got defended by Matt.
Check, check.
I think he was
Hearts on the
Just heads up here.
They were going to show that. That was a big pot, was it? I don't know.
Three hearts in the river. Brian's got
Machine gunning through some missed action here. So we got DJ with the 4-deuce on the button and Matt defended with the ace-4. Not a whole lot of hand for either of them. DJ's going to have to fire here with the 4-high after checking twice. See if Matt finds a call with ace-high.
I know, it's weird. It's really weird.
Declined.
and he wins his own money back on the button.
I don't get it.
Craig, I know you're very happy and very proud. The Bellagio 5 Diamond is coming up.
November 24th
To December 10th.
December 10th. My favorite time of the year. I
Mine too.
love summer. I mean, you have to love summer if you're in our
But
business.
summer wears you out. The
okay. I love
five.
summer.
the-
Listen,
War of attrition.
I love summer. I'll just leave it there. Because it's everyone's here. But 5 Diamond is Bellagio's diamond for the year. And it is so exciting to have the entire poker community hailing upon the Bellagio, where WPT got started with this event.
Right.
So if you want to talk about something near and dear to my heart as a director for this room, it's 5 Diamond.
Last year we had 791 players.
Tied the all-time largest 10K in the history of the World Poker Tour.
But we gave away a bigger first and second prize than it was ever given away, right?
That's correct.
1.9 and 1.3 for second.
We tied our friends at the Commerce from 2007, I believe.
Back in the poker heyday.
Internet.
Yeah.
Still alive and active.
Yeah.
Harry, double check that for us. Was it 2007? We're gonna have our Harry, our moderator, check if it was 2007. It might have been 6.
Commerce main event 2007.
Yeah, and
We're
was
looking
definitely
for the
Commerce.
biggest
It was
10K WPT
It
field.
was either 2006 or 7. We're gonna double check that.
Sam got the shirt.
But yeah, so we tied it last year.
They charged
We're gonna have to sail past it this year, right?
oh, we're gonna easy. Like we have over under bets, and you really don't think it's gonna hit the numbers we think it's gonna hit. I'm at a like 830. I think we're getting at least 40 more players, probably 50 or 60. Because you know what happens is, right? You put on an event where 2 people win $1 million. Everybody in the world hears about it.
Sure.
They're like, we have to go there next year.
Absolutely.
Oh, poor
Absolutely.
Joe. 2 queens again on the button. I mean, I don't know how he sleeps at night. We're number 1, Harry says.
So, Harry, our moderator, he's going to find out for the year that the WPT at the Commerce tied our event. So we're tied.
Can you check it?
2007? Double check. All right, so we tied.
Does it
the
show their prize pool?
2007.
Can you look at their? Does it have their prize pool?
But we think we're the.
What did it say? Like the payouts on their prize pool? I'm pretty sure we're the only one to ever give 2 $1 million prizes
For a
outside
10K.
the WSOP.
So,
Yeah.
10K we used to
Joe's-
for the 25K.
Yeah.
Joe's gonna have to play another big pot here with the 2 queens. Josh 3-bet him out of the $10 blind. Joe declined to put another raise in and just took a flop in position heads up.
Joe's racing this flop, right? He's just.
Not necessarily. His hand is very well disguised.
How much money can I get out of him? I think Josh needs to give me some money.
Good grief.
Josh, oh,
boy.
Joe is going to get what he just did to Matt.
Yeah, this is.
Are we going to have one of these nights where we flop sets over all the time?
You get a set, you get a set, everybody gets a set. Pretty.
That's kind of been the theme here on BellagioPOTS, right?
Pretty delightful spot here for Josh. He just 3-bet out of the blinds and just get to go bet.
Okay, good luck. You can't say that.
What did Josh bet here? He bet 1,000. About a third of the pot. Or was half pot, right?
Half pot.
Yeah, half pot.
Had a live stream Taiwanese. It'd break the internet.
Live stream
Taiwanese
Taiwanese would break the internet.
It would break the internet. 100%.
Ooh, I thought that was a
Thought that was a queen.
another red queen.
Dallas, you want to give the viewers at home a rundown as to what Taiwanese poker is as soon as his hand's over?
Yes.
Be rated R.
Can I just say it's the most insane game in the
It's
world?
just coin flipping.
It's
Glorified coin flipping.
We'll see. No one supposed to create one.
5,000 into about. Is this an overbet? It is.
yes. He bet 5,000 to a 4K pot.
I know, yeah.
Still my beating heart.
What are you saying? It's
How
not
big a point
Me,
of
you
a
just pay
Taiwanese
some
game could we
kid
get?
that's genius like
on this
7,000 and say here.
500, 5,000.
There's no way it would be tough.
400
Go to San
can lead
Francisco,
to a
start
lot
knocking on
playing Taiwanese.
windows, and I promise you'll find some kid.
What's the home run? 13 points, right?
I don't know.
If the home run is 13 points on top of what you already won. So at 400 a point, you know,
6,500. Oh, it's 6,500 at Nichols.
yeah.
Tens of
No one
dollars.
would understand it. Be like, 13
Deep in the tank here is Joe.
We speak basketball.
Can he find a laydown like Matt did with the aces
Well,
when Joe flopped the set?
I am tempted to make the argument that it's easier. There's some more compelling hands that I don't know.
The other thing is that Matt and Joe
My thought just
Matt
fell
and
flat
Joe
on
have
its
played
face.
together a lot.
Have they?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how much Josh has played with either of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not a normal 10-20-40 or a 10-20
Yeah.
player up top. So they know a little bit about each other, Matt and Joe. They've played a lot of poker together. Joe might just look him up because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, though, Joe never put in another raise with this hand.
We never really had the opportunity on this texture.
One of our viewers in the chat says easier fold here. I tend to agree. I think it's a little bit easier.
Especially when the overcard comes off on the river now. If you put him on a hand like ace-king, maybe turns a club, ace-king, clubs there, something like that, then obviously.
But if he had a king, this was a question for you guys. If he had a king, would there ever be a need to bet such and so large?
But that's what the hook is, though, right? It's the overbet is either a complete bluff or a monster, and now you have to decide which one it is. It's the all or nothing hand. He's either got a big hand or he has nothing. So which one is it?
So you don't think that Josh is ever putting an overbet in here with like the 7-8 of clubs, the 9-10
It's
of
the all.
clubs?
It's the all or nothing hand, though, right? Like he's got a hand that he's essentially turned into a bluff because it's fairly weak. I mean, and just about anything that Joe has should beat that hand. You know, or he's got a monster and he wants Joe to think he's bluffing, so now he overbets the pot.
So you don't think he's
I'm
ever
betting
overbetting for
Joe
value
finds
here?
a fold here.
He looks confused in his hand.
It's a tough spot.
It is. I have this theory when I play that if I'm confused, I just fold. Like, because it's just, you know, like, if I can.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
And that might be an exploitable strategy.
right.
Joe does find the fold.
He does. Yeah. I guess deuces giveth and deuces taketh away, right?
They haven't taken away a bit yet. My whole question though is, are you saying that Josh is never making an overbet for value there?
I'm saying it is. It's either an overbet for value or it's the nothing hand. It's one or the other. Like
But with middle of the road kind of hand, you don't think he's ever taking a one pair type hand? He's never taking king queen that he backed into a hand there.
I don't think so.
And overbetting the pot, thinking that he's confident he has the best hand.
When
You think it's a very
pre-calls,
polarized
right? Joe pre-calls
setup?
him pre-flop in position, and he calls him all the way down to make a third bet there. Of anything other than like an oversized bet, or if he bets something, he bets enough, overbets the pot to make it look weak. But we know now that that's either weak or strong. Like it used to be, people overbet the pot because they were weak and they didn't want you to call. Now poker's evolved, and it's kind of the other situation, right? Where you overbet the pot with a monster, hoping that people will think that you're overbetting. And so it has to be. It's one or the other. I don't think he plays a hand like that, especially
middle of the road hand there. You don't
not with Joe behind him already calling the re-raise on the flop turn.
So Josh opens the button here, calls by Brian, and then Ron threes it to 420 with the ace-jack offsuit. Brian's going to get out of the way after putting 120 bucks in. Ron has not declined an opportunity to c-bet so far, so why would he now with ace high?
Bets $800 into a $1,000 pot, and he wins.
The button money lives to see another day.
And he just shows him the jack.
Jack, it looks like. I don't know, did he have the ace? No, he didn't have the ace of spades. That was ace. Shows a line.
Haha, I got a jack.
Pretty good card. Above average card.
So often we talk about things that just kind of annoy us at the poker table.
Okay.
And one of the things that just
It's a growing list.
yeah.
Literally everything that ever happens. It all makes me mad.
But when
nothing happens, I'm furious.
When the guy calls you down to the river, and then you bet the river, and he tanks forever, and he turns over like bottom pair. Like that was a decision right there, right? Like I had a deuce.
When the guy's got the busted straight draw for 7 high, yeah, I see where you're coming from with that one.
Like, why are we showing that? Congrats. Yes, you have a yeah.
Another fold to the button and open. There's been a lot of opportunities for buttons to open so far in this.
And they've won a lot of the button game hasn't gone around the table too much because the buttons have been winning hands and picking up big hands on the button.
Third hand or so.
Which doesn't normally happen. Normally, the button will get in quite a few.
4-way flop here? No, Len's going to put the 3-bet in. Small.
Brian O's calling this right in position, ace-jack.
This was limped by Brian on the button with the ace-jack. I didn't catch that. So it went limp, complete. Len raises his option to 340.
And Brian just flats him on the button.
So limp call from the button, one of those not often seen from first-in plays.
Does this send off alarms in your head if you're Len?
I don't think so.
Limps on the button, calls the raise.
Len is the serial whole card offender, it looks like here. He's got his cards so far forward.
He's not invited back tomorrow.
All right, you can tell him that.
I'll tell him.
Check.
Love to get him in the booth to berate some folks.
Oh, there is a.
I'll buy it dinner.
The entire staff would like to have Len come on and do some commentary one night.
That would be awesome. You should buy him dinner.
Fair
Len,
warning,
when
I
he
don't.
watches back. We're gonna give you. We're gonna harass you till you join us.
The fair warning for you. I'm not sure how much of the Twitterverse you're familiar with. Zen of Len is his handle, and he has a little bit of constructive criticism for the Bellagio Poker Room. If you're on the stream with him, you're probably going to have to.
I read it on the daily.
Okay. It's just delightful.
It's the tweet is secondary to the text he already sent me. So.
Okay.
Craig, you are very most accessible director here at the poker room. Apparently everybody has your phone number. They text you at all hours of the night.
The world. Do you want to just leave it out here? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
so-
can just get a direct line to get on the stream. Call area code.
Yeah, no. A lot of directors aren't accessible to the rooms. You know what I mean? The poker room managers aren't accessible. That's probably one of your better qualities, and that's why I think we have the players that we have here.
Sure.
Because the inner contact that you have with them.
sure. And that was always a goal of mine when I came back to the room, and I had good advice from a mentor of mine. Said, above all else, be sure to listen.
Right.
And that's true. And you know, my philosophy has always been that as a poker room manager, director, you work in accordance in a partnership with your players. So in order to know what that partner needs, you have to hear them out sometimes. So certainly, has been a focus of mine for.
Looks like
many years
Stu's
now.
got a gut shot. DJ's
pair
got
versus
top
top pair
pair
here.
and a gut shot.
Folded to Josh. He opened the ace jack, got 2 defenders, and
Can't call with ace jack if you're not going to call on the flop, right? DJ's got top pair, weak kicker. He's going to get out
just
of there.
going to get out of the way. Gutter versus top pair. Here we go. Heads up to a turn.
I heard Mike Sexton say something one time on the WPT that I've always appreciated, and a player called decent size of his chips and made a pair, like I think it was bottom pair, and Mike Sexton's point was, how are you going to put chips in your pot and then fold when you make your hand?
When you improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're short stacked in a tournament. Like the player is well known, but he calls out of the blind the raise, which is probably a third, maybe a quarter to a third of his stack, and he's short stacked as it is. Flops bottom pair, which
But maybe
is a
he
four.
was confused, so he just folded like you.
Yes.
Like I said, I think it might be an exploitable strategy.
If,
I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
If I'm short
You just
stacked,
start shouting calculus problems at him. I know
if
how
I'm
to pick
short
this one up,
stacked,
baby.
and I'm short stacked in the tournament, and I call anything and flop a pair. I'm just putting it in, like, and just let it run and see what I can get. I might have the best hand
also
there.
an exploitable weakness in his
Yeah,
game?
I mean, there's a. This might be another thinly veiled bad beat story about being short stacked in a tournament.
No. It wasn't me. But it's a player that we all know that plays in here a lot. And Mike Sexton was like, I don't understand how you can make your hand improve and then fold,
get out of the way.
especially for the amount
What
of
do you-
equity he had in the hand. And he actually had the best hand by far.
But what do you do when you know what's coming?
Then we play poker, because if I knew it was coming, like, we wouldn't be here.
Open your button day here at the Bellagio. Stu with the 9-5 of clubs says that's good enough. It's going to come 3 ways to a flop with somehow the best hand.
And he's going to flop middle pair.
The 9-high suited monster.
Yeah,
Against 2 gut shots.
Just smashes the 5-4-1 flop against 8 high and 6 high respectively.
There are
Matt
two-
is drawing to the second nuts here.
Yeah. And who folded the other hand? Somebody else was drawing to the nuts. DJ folded his gut
DJ
shot.
folded 8-6. Is that right?
Yeah.
Disciplined lay down of.
Looks like a check raise here by Matt, right?
Yeah. There's an argument about calling multiple streets with ace king high.
I think they're talking about the hand that Josh just beat Joe in with that queen.
Oh yeah. Why would you bet 5,000 with ace king? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Board pair.
You said it out loud during the end. I mean, you might have king 7 here. I'll tell you what, you can have the king 7.
There's the one we know. I give you the king 7. That's what he had.
Harry, this audio is going out to the world.
I'll let him have queens, and I'll still include that in the.
See, Josh told him that he had queens, and he doesn't believe. And Joe's not, or Joe told Josh he has queens. Josh told him he's beat. You're right. He did not have 2 pair. He wasn't lying. He had a set.
Pair plus.
Wow, Matt bet $1,200 into a $700 pot.
After check raising to
Yeah.
a whopping $300. You know, what do you do when you lose 3,000 your first hand? You play big pots.
Can't get it back by not playing. So,
What do you say? No one comes to Vegas to fold?
Yeah.
well, that's what I was going to say is that you were talking about you like to run it twice, and I prefer not to run
Oh,
twice.
right. We were talking about this.
Because based on your theory, like you say that I don't come to Vegas to chop or break even.
Okay.
That's always been your philosophy. I agree with that. So like, I think somebody has to lose something. So if we run it 3 times, somebody's going to lose 2.
Someone's going to get hurt.
Right.
But-
Yeah, otherwise, what's the point? If we're just
know,
going to, if we're going to.
In the long enough run, it's irrelevant how many times you run it. You're just reducing the short-term variance, but
Right.
over the long run, if you run it 30 times or once, it's the same thing.
Can we get out a second deck of cards and run it one more time? Just
the one good merit I've ever read about whether or not you run it twice, aside from the short term, was Barry Greenstein in his old book, Ace on the River, where he talks about the folks that are inclined. Matt just picks it up with the check raise bet here. Nicely played.
What Matt show him the deuce there?
Did he show him the deuce?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks
You
like
showed
that's a
him one
face-up card.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they got Joe T. Hand on tilt. He's walking away from the table.
So if you're playing against opponents that are inclined to gamble, there might be a deciding factor that if this guy will run it twice against me, I got a chance of getting some money back. Maybe I'll gamble with him versus the guy that only will run it once.
He gets a lot less action.
You might give him a little less action. You might, and Barry said that was the reason that he ran pots once, was to
Not get action.
dissuade people from calling him quite as wide in certain spots, and he felt that it was a definitive advantage.
That makes huge sense. Like we got an 8-4. Nobody's playing 7-5.
Yeah, if you want to run it once, fine. If you want to run it 7 times, I don't care.
I just feel like somebody should lose something, so I like to run it once.
You
or
just
3
want
times.
people to hurt. Just say it.
Sometimes I hurt. It hurts me. Like, Craig, you think we'll ever get a tournament where you can run it twice?
I really want to. I want it. The first time you do that, I'm in. Required to run it twice.
So we had this idea last tournament to come up with a run it twice tournament, and we sat back here and ran out a bunch of scenarios as to some of the rules and whatnot. It became very complicated, but this is an idea we've had.
DJ
so
flops a gut shot. Josh flops top pair. Go ahead.
But we've talked about it.
Okay.
So it was basically your all-in hands would be ran twice.
Nice. Man, DJ picked up a couple more outs here with the hearts.
The part that became difficult was figuring out what happens during side pots.
We actually have that issue here too, where people like
It's
there's
a hotly debated topic.
right, because our rule is that everybody has to agree to run it twice. So if there's somebody in a third person who doesn't want to run it twice, you can't run it twice for the side pot either.
So
Everybody has to agree to run it twice.
just to make it clear, the scenario happens where, let's say we're playing 5-10.
Right.
And there's a player that's got $200 left, and then there's 2 players that are playing $5,500 each. The 3 of these players get all the money in. So there's a $600 main pot, but then there's an $11,000-ish side pot.
Sure.
There's some misgivings from the 2 guys playing for, an 8 buy-in pot.
Sure.
Versus the short stack just wanting to run it once because it's only 600. I'm not going to put you on the spot here and see why you feel how you feel about it, but I'm just trying.
But see,
to
I think it's at the advantage of the short stack to
hello,
run it
Jason.
twice.
We just had a big old face full of dealer there.
That
So
was
it's
Nate,
certainly
right?
a topic that
Yeah.
has come up quite a bit. And it's
Merits
hotly
discussion.
debated because it's is it fair whether or not it's a larger pot or not? That could be that gentleman or woman's last $200.
Absolutely.
Do we have the right that the other 2 players' action could be affected by knowing that they're going to run it twice, even though he does not want to?
Absolutely.
It is a challenging topic, but again, the other argument to your point is they're playing a massive pot. Why should we eliminate their right to run it twice?
Yeah.
Definitely a hot topic.
Yeah. Back when I was dealing, I actually dealt a hand that was like so insane it was ridiculous. The short stack, I feel like short stack should be the ones that are willing to run it twice because it's obviously in their advantage. But the hands were aces, kings, and 5s.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think on the short stack, potentially you could,
because you have more equity for your hand.
but you might want to gamble more with the shorter stack.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'll never forget this hand. It was aces, kings, and 5s. They decided to run it twice. The first board was quad aces. The guy makes quad aces. So he's winning half the pot.
Which is terrible for you.
Yes. The
Yeah, I
second,
really feel for the guy that makes squats.
the second,
We've got 2 more boards to
Get
go.
it, I get
the
it.
second board, kings and 5s both flop a set,
Wow.
and 5 rivers quads.
So there's one king left in the deck that
Yeah.
the aces has to fade.
Yeah. So the guy, so they split the pot, quad aces and quad 5s. The king's full of 5s on the bottom board. That's an insanely sick hand there. Janet's in the box. Welcome to our dealer, Janet. She's one of the original BellagioPOTS dealers.
Do you know Janet is the most requested poker dealer on the World Poker Tour
No kidding.
I
by
did
the
not know
staff?
I did not know that.
Open from DJ with the 9-1 of clubs here. Josh on the button, 3-betting the king 10 offsuit.
It's 1-9 because we're not playing low ball.
Just this once. Just
Okay.
this one hand. He's got the 9-1 of clubs.
Okay. Josh 3-bet to 900 out of the. Josh is the
This
middle
is a,
blind,
This
right?
is a big open. He just opened for 260 with no caller in between. Is that?
Yeah.
Did we miss a limp or something?
Wow, that's a good board for both of them.
This might be a
Big pot.
highlight of a pot right here.
Yeah. Obviously, the board's paired here, so DJ is going to be, a little conscious about what he does.
DJ's
here.
only playing 3,000. So there's a
And
very
he's
good
got
likelihood
900 in the pot. Yeah.
This is probably all going in here. I can't imagine how
Plus,
it's
we
not.
can't see how much is on the button.
Yeah.
Josh is playing 19,000. He's going to just flat here, right? Because why would he think his hand isn't good? The worst card in the world for DJ is obviously
clubs.
King of Clubs.
DJ's got a little less than a pot size
Check,
bet
check.
here. Just checks it. Disciplined. Oh, quads.
Okay, there's your answer to the question.
Oh, quads again here
Yep.
on the stream.
Josh just open shoves. Lets DJ get away from it. Kind of an unfortunate run out there.
Oh,
for
look, he shows the king. Yay.
That's a pretty respectable check back of the turn by DJ to save himself his last 2,500 though.
I can't wait for the 5 diamond. I'm so excited. It's my favorite time of the year,
Fun
even
time
above
here.
the.
The only day of that entire series that I don't like is
Day 1 of the main.
day 1 of the main event because I've got normally the one game in Bobby's room, and I'm just tripping over tournament players coming in and out of break all day. It's one day and I deal with it. But
I think the last day that we allow registration is the worst because everybody shows up and re-enters, and now we got. Craig, you were talking about maybe possibly putting some more tables out in the sports book this year, other than the 8. Not going to make it.
No, so we got the extra tables out in the sports book. Which
So
will float us.
we can only hold 470 players at a time.
Right.
And when we on that last day, we end up with 180, 200 alternates. And so, like, wow, it's ridiculous. Like, so we're busting our butts to get those players in, and we're like, I mean, we can't get the people who bust out of their seats fast enough before we're sitting. They're still grabbing their stuff, and we're sitting somebody else in the seat. Like, it's
get them in, get them out.
I love it though. It's so
Make it
busy.
for
It's
your
so
best.
insane that they like.
There was a funny moment last year where I grabbed the whole list of alternates and was helping seat the players just because we got so busy and I had to get out on the floor and help you guys.
Yeah, it was.
And my favorite question when everyone was asking, "Where am I at on the list?" And
Yeah,
there's like a line of 60 people.
Yeah.
So
You're on the
I'll-
list. That's
I'll
all.
call
That's all
you.
we can help you.
Yeah.
You're on the list.
This is interesting. The second time this has happened where the button sizing has gotten bigger just because of the amount of money under the button. Matt's folded to him. He's got the queen jack of clubs. Josh 3-bets the button open 2 times in a row here.
Looks like there's a few hundred under the button.
Yeah,
So like,
it's gone at least a lap. So this has
so
gone
Matt opened to
260.
74.
No,
Oh, he's 740 to call.
Matt-
260 to
yeah,
1,000.
Matt opened 260. He got 3 to 1,000 by the mystery hand from Josh. Let's see if Josh can make quads 2 hands in a row.
Oh, Matt's coming.
Matt shrugs and calls, heads up for a little old $2,000 pot.
The queen high in the mystery hand.
That's
a decent flop for Matt.
so Josh 3-bets it knuckles on the flop. That's
an interesting play,
the
no?
first time we've seen that, at least on this stream.
All right. I'd like to check back here then if he does that. That 3-bet then check
Yeah, Matt
is.
checks.
Yeah, check,
Yeah.
check. Fair return.
This is interesting. Well, it's 4 straight on the board, so Matt's got a hand that has some showdown value, but
1,000 into 2.
I feel like Josh re-raised with a Jack-10 here and flopped the nuts. Oh, he's got
Well, there,
King
Josh,
Queen.
King Queen for Josh. The card's just picked up on the reader.
Jiggly Bluff saying that he 3'd it and then checked last hand with the King 10. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. But he flopped him. I
He
mean,
already had
Yeah, it came
nobody's
Queen 10-10.
Oh, right. You're checking that hand anyway.
All right. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that I have a limited short-term memory.
Matt wants to know what hand did he get 3-betted out of here with a 10 that has a 10 in it. A 10 is a bad card for Matt. Oh, that's a great card for Matt. Obviously.
I can't imagine a scenario where Josh has a 10 in his hand and checks on the flop after 3-betting.
Except
Jack
he
10.
did it just last hand.
Yeah.
He 3-betted the King 10.
Well, no, with this
But he
on this
flopped
hand. I'm
it.
talking about
Yeah.
this hand with a straight
Right,
draw,
right,
don't you
right.
think?
He flopped a monster last hand. Of course, he's going to try and let DJ hang himself.
This is an interesting pair of back-to-back hands here for some options on how to play them.
But that's my
2,000
question. So, what do you guys think? If he has a 10 in his hand on this board after 3-betting, isn't he going to continuation bet almost every time?
I mean, he could he's 3-betting the guy who raised on the button, so he could be calling he could be 3-betting a hand like Ace 10 or King 10 suited, which wouldn't be out of line.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a made hand yet,
Matt picks off the bluff here. 2,000
and he picks
into
up
3
the
on
looks
end.
like 400 or 500 on the button.
Nothing to hate about that one. There's your aces money back, Matt. Nice hand. How
Big
many of the
pot for Matt there.
competitors on tonight's pots are playing to put food on the table, and how many are playing out of the kindness of their hearts? Now, I don't think there's a single player I can identify in any game, let alone this one, that is purely playing out of the kindness of their heart.
Maybe Ron.
Yeah, but Ron's
He's not
Ron's
using this.
wants
This
to
one.
win.
That's true,
You
and it's
know?
funny. So I talked to Ron. You know, he got cancer in 2005.
No.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah. And the reason he started playing poker is because he couldn't do anything else physically competitive.
Okay. I see it.
So he wanted something he could compete at, but he couldn't do any physical activity because he had esophageal cancer.
Wow.
So he picked poker because it's a very competitive sport. And he said just like everybody else, remember Ron's owned like 20 business here in Vegas. He still started out at 1-3, 1-2 because he said that he didn't know what he was doing. He played online, was successful online, and then was kind of scared to come in the casino and play.
It's interesting.
So we still got the button game on. And for those of you who don't know what the button is, the original person that has the button after the pot's been won puts $100 under the button. Everybody else after that puts $40 under the button. And only the button can win that money. So if you're the button and you lose, it goes to the next person. They add another 40. Next person, they add another 40 until somebody who has the button wins the pot. And we just saw Matt won like 400 or 500 there with the button game with his trip jacks. Brian O. in the blind has been raised to 160 by Land.
Yeah, Len opens up front here.
Full
Actually,
Volvo.
no. I think Brian bought the button in this pot, did he not?
Did he?
I think so. Because I didn't see,
I see got the
I
blind.
didn't see a hand in the 2 or the 3 seed. I think it went fold, 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 and Len opened. So
It looks like it because it looks like Ron is putting out the 10 right now, and Stu's got the 20.
Len's PLO game, one of the top players in the world. Hopefully in 4 weeks' time, we get the opportunity to let you decide that for yourself. We're running a 5-5 pot limit Omaha game. It's $3,000 maximum buy-in. Hopefully we can talk Lynn into a return appearance so he can drum that game for the maximum.
Len is going to try and get those stakes raised.
Yeah, of course.
he wants to play for money. Like,
Political futures betting is the topic of discussion now.
because Len will bet on anything. Anything you give him a chance to bet on, he's in.
There was some heated survivor pool discussion going on earlier upstairs in the high limit section, specifically concerning the Green Bay Packers game. I think I spoke about that already, didn't I?
I don't know. I think I missed that.
Apparently, they were going to lose a massive portion of the field remaining if Green Bay found a way to lose in overtime to the Bengals.
Did they lose? Or did they win?
Of course not. It's the Packers.
That's how I felt about the Steelers today. They were playing how did the Steelers lose to the Bears? Well, because they fumbled the ball twice, but is the Giants even in a game with Philadelphia?
That was the trap game of the week.
Yes.
I saw it when the line came out.
And they were up 14. Like, I thought I was money in the bag. I was already counting that one. Then I walked back in the room, and it's 14-14. I'm like, let this be a lesson to you, kids. Don't sports bet.
Hold on just a second.
Craig's like, no, we got to
I was tempted.
Craig needs to stay employed.
Extra oversight over there.
I was
so,
tempted to go on my bookie rant, but then I realized I like my job. So I'll tell you boys that one later.
Brian O is on the cutoff with 10-5. Oh, so I understand what your problem is, Craig.
What's that?
You want them to bet on the Play MGM app.
Well, yeah, if you're going to.
I mean, yeah. You can play anywhere in the state of Nevada.
Yep. Geolocated. The state of Nevada.
Geolocated, yeah. Just download the Play MGM app on any iPhone or Android phone. And you can bet anywhere in the state. Doesn't matter. Just
sign up here.
put some money on the account.
Show proof your ID.
Let me ask you a couple questions about that. For that, can they deposit money here at the cage onto the account, or does it all have to be? How does that work?
Yes, that's the best way to do it. Is at one of the cages.
And then they can.
Or
just
it's not at the cage, at the books.
Okay, and then they can just come to the book and take their money out whenever they win or whatever.
Yep.
Is there a maximum amount of money they can bet through the app?
Well, certainly they're bound by the same limits we hold the sports book, which varies by sport, by game.
So if the game's allowed 50,000, they can bet 50,000 through the app.
Yeah, same as what you get. Same odds you get. Same bets you get here in the book.
And the odds are the same on all the games.
Yep.
So it's all the same as the
Yep.
book. A little lull in the action right here. I'm your host, Dallas Scott, my co-host, Mr. John Harden, and the director of poker and racing sports, Mr. Craig Lump.
Dallas, thank you.
You can hit us on Twitter. My Twitter is DallasScott73. John is the Great Hardini, and Craig is just at Bellagio Poker.
Well, that's not me personally, but I do.
No, I mean,
monitor
if you want to get a personal correspondence to him, I think, does Western Union still do telegrams?
I think we should call it the best way to get a hold of him is through his wife. Matt's got 6-5 of hearts. Is he going to defend the Stu's raise of 140? Of course he is.
Looks like just a call and head up to a flop against the mystery button. A little bit better than the 9-5 of clubs he had the last lap around. 2 kings against the 6-5. Womp womp.
I don't expect this pot to get out of hand like the other one.
Matt's going to peel. He's trying to do something a little cagey here, I can
There is
reckon.
not a better trash talker in all of poker
King
than
of hearts?
Len Ashby.
Yeah. This is going to slow the action down a little bit. Going to check, and then Stu will check call. Matt will bet the river. Stu will call. No, Stu's going to continue to bet.
Stu's coming.
Was there a check on the flop, or did Stu
No,
float here with
it-
6-5?
No, Matt
Matt
floated.
Matt
check
float.
called with 6 high. And then gave up on
That's
the
it.
unfortunate turn card.
Are they playing the show 1 game? Is that what we're doing here?
I can only
Sure
imagine.
looks that way.
These aren't. Most of the guys in this game aren't real keen on giving away free information.
Yeah, so they must be playing the show 1 game where you have to show one
Win a
of the
pot,
cards.
show a card.
Yep. Sometimes they play, where the opponent gets to pick the card that's shown to.
Yeah. Don't waste time.
No.
It's random. Although it's not.
It's randomly random.
So aside from the old chop with the queens against the queens, biggest pots we've had of the night have been overpair against set twice.
Yes, aces versus set of deuces.
Good laydowns on the
queens
river
versus
both times. Our set quota is a little low so far this evening.
Yeah, we've only had 2. We had quads,
quads
once.
once.
Yeah, so that kind of makes up a little. Like, 1 pair of quads is worth like 3 cents, right?
I don't know what the conversion rate is personally. Looks like an early open here from
From Ron?
Ron.
No, he's calling for it. He's just calling.
Ron opens to 160.
Okay.
Call from Lynn on the button. Joe's
got
going to make
king-
it 3 ways to a flop with the king-jack offsuit. 7-5 of spades for those button-peeling critics.
It's going to be a tough hand. Ron's won every hand he's played so far with the c-bet. This is going to be a tough one for him to win, right? He does c-bet, but Joe called the king-jack. He's got to come along here, right? He flopped the top pair.
Yeah, just a check call of 300.
Yeah.
Heads up to a turn.
How about the jack of hearts of the turn? No.
Big board pair stuff.
Here's the other thing now. Joe's probably calling this down because he might think that he's getting his money back, right? Because the queen might chop the board for him. And Ron's got a smaller king.
Just never folding top pair in this spot, I don't think. Eldar, hit us up at Bellagio Poker, poker at BellagioResort.com.
Yeah,
come on
if you
in,
want to
bud.
play,
That's a check raise.
Harry, where's the schedule posted online?
$40 no limit.
Put that in the chat for me, please. All right. The schedule, Harry, our producer, will put that in the chat with the link to where you can go to check out the schedule. And he'll also put all the information you need to call us and get a hold of us to play.
Although our friend here in the chat might not have the buy-in if he's playing 40 no limit.
I can guess what part of the country he's from saying $40 no limit, though.
Yeah.
We do refer to it by the blinds. Well, actually, it's not that we refer to it by the blinds here. It's that literally everywhere else in the world refers to it by the blinds besides Southern California.
Yeah, that's true.
And those games in Southern California, like,
They're different.
yes.
That's what we're
They
going to
are
say.
different.
They are different.
Let's all buy in for $40 and get it all in on the first hand. Let's buy in for another $40 and yeah. I tried playing one of those games once over in Rincon, and it was just.
Oh, I loved it. I went straight from like I think I was playing 40-80 Hold'em and went straight down. My wife was playing something down in that low section, and I ended up hopping in the $40 no limit Hold'em game. And
1-1 blinds? 1-2.
1-2 blinds.
1-2 blind.
$40 minimum maximum.
Yeah.
Solamente uno buy-in. And yeah, I gave some money away and was looked upon like I was a pure psychopath.
This is going to be an interesting hand. Stu raises to 100 with the
That
queen
is a lot of
jack.
playable hands.
Len just decides a flat halt here with ace king. DJ's coming along with the king 10. That's kind of everybody's been opening to like 140, 120, 140,
it's
and Stu
actually-
opens here to only 100.
The button games looks like it makes the opening amounts a little dynamic. Because when there got to be a bunch of money the last time the button was in the 6, 7, 8 seat, the standard open a couple hands in a row was like 260.
Right.
So
Len's going to bet his ace king here.
bet and take it.
Can't imagine Stu's calling. And Len wins another pot. Yeah, they're playing the show 1 game. He's got a show 1 card. It's been a pretty interesting game. We've had a few really big pots. 10, 20, 40, no limit hold'em, $1,500 minimum buy-in, no maximum buy-in. I'm your host, Dallas Scott, John Hardini, and our boss, Mr. Craig Lump. I said your title twice right tonight.
You got it right tonight, man. You can remain employed.
Yay!
At least till the end of the
The
season.
boss man and check signer, Craig Long.
At least till season 2's over.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't call him check signer.
Check.
He wishes he had that authority.
Post-dated check signer?
Yeah.
So when's the wedding, Craig?
Soon. That's all you're getting.
I mean, dang, if you just want him to buy you some cake.
I want to buy him a cake and maybe
Oh.
maybe a gift for his wife or something, but he just won't tell anybody.
Smooth cover right there.
No, I've told him this before. I'm like, we get you a cake or something.
I appreciate it.
You know, you can just buy him a cake for whatever reason.
Hell
I
no.
mean, you know it's coming.
No,
So
no.
All right, folds the DJ and the
Buy you a
cutoff.
pie.
well, that's cool.
You have a favorite kind of pie? You're a Midwest boy, so like
Strawberry rhubarb.
that's my favorite. 100%. Strawberry rhubarb with vanilla ice cream.
You know what? You
I
know,
think I'm going key lime.
there's key lime. Here's the thing.
What, you disapprove of that?
I love key lime pie. I don't love all key lime pie.
Well, that's fair.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm
That's fair.
disappointed by a
Yeah.
large volume of the key lime pie I eat. Matt defending his button with the 5 tray of diamonds here and not getting a lot of love on this flop. Just trying to win this button money. I can only
DJ
presume.
checks his pair and gut shot.
No c-bet into a single opponent.
Doesn't help anybody, really. Matt can steal here, and he probably wants to with the button. Nope.
Pair.
Matt might
makes
think
his
his pair
hand.
of threes is good. And maybe he thinks he's got a no-pair hand.
Looks like 2 checks and the 2 nines are going to win a little bit of the money. Eldar, send us an email, poker@BellagioResort.com. We'll get you booked.
Yeah.
December 15th and 16th,
Well, that's the,
unfortunately, we are running a series of tournaments known as the 5 Diamond World Poker Classic.
Actually, that ends on the 10th.
Oh. Well, we'll have a game for you to play. Come on down.
40 no limit game.
40 no limit.
Makes for good TV.
Game so good you can hardly beat it.
I think they should charge. Oh, wait. In California, they do charge double for the rig. Never mind.
That game's some places they drop $3.50 a hand. Other places it's $6.
Yeah.
But you know, if that game's too big for you, there are some $20 no limit games that are spread around Southern
In
California.
SoCal, 20 no limit.
$1 blinds,
I like it.
$20 buy-in.
I like it.
I don't think you like. I played it once. I don't think you could pay me to play in that game again. Like it just.
I mean, if you do it solely to make others miserable, it's a playable game.
Just trying to ruin some people's day.
Yeah, just
So-
re-award pots basically.
The other day we had a 200, 400, 400, 800 mixed game in Bobby's room.
Yep.
So. As the
Whatever's
ga-
coming is going to be good. I know that.
No, it's
yeah.
so
I-
as the
this-
game
this
is
was-
breaking,
'Kay.
we have a seat in a 1-3 no limit game.
Oh my goodness.
So the players decide.
Did they draw for it?
No, they all play one hand, go in, put $200 in blind, and just puts the 1-3 table on stone cold tilt. Just absolutely like, I'm like, people want to give you money. Like, what are you thinking about? And honestly, if I'm in that game, if I'm up, I'm snap calling I'm just calling off and gambling there.
Right.
If I'm stuck, any hand I got queen or with a queen or better in it.
So
I'm
the only
calling
way
off.
you're not playing the pot is if you're breaking even for the day.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
So again,
just,
for our viewers at home, we got a game in Bobby's room. They're playing 400, 800.
I think so. 400, 800
400
mix.
limit.
400, 400 mix. One of those.
Big mix.
Yes.
They decide when the game's breaking, they're going to. They pooled their money.
No. Like they each put in 200. They each went to the table with $200. I started with
Their
our
own money.
Yeah. They started with our crazy friend.
Okay.
He goes to the table, sits down, puts in $200. Post puts in the $200 and
Yeah,
ships
that
when it's his turn.
That was the 2-4 game.
Yeah.
So what were they doing? They were gonna play until they either double up or lost.
Yeah,
or?
you either won the hand or you lost,
Oh, okay.
Or you chopped.
or you chopped. One of them won, one of them lost, the other one won $2, like or $3 blind. But it put the whole 1-3 table on stone cold
How could that
tilt.
put you on tilt?
I like
mean,
they're trying to give away
yeah.
money here, like you know what I mean. I'm calling 90% of the hands there.
Sure.
Because at worst, you're probably 60-40, right? Or you're 50-50. I mean,
Yeah.
if you play blackjack and you don't play that hand.
Unless they picked up a hand.
Right.
DJ opening the 2 jacks here. The next day, we had a 4.
Ooh,
we got
ace
a pot.
queen. This is gonna be a pot.
Story for later. So Matt's just going to flat the open to 120. Brian probably defending out of the blinds with
With
the
the
10-9
10-9 suited. Yep. 10-9 of diamonds.
Oh, they look like clubs to me because I'm colorblind and.
Oh.
Stu in the perfect spot to put a squeeze in.
Right.
We couldn't have made this hand up.
We
I
got
love
a pot.
this. I love this. Did this dude just flat?
No, he
No,
made
he-
it
okay, it's
660, 640.
All right.
Just nonchalant flicks the pair of chips out there.
DJ's calling right. He thinks it's a squeeze, but he's got 2 players
DJ's
behind
not
him.
that deep, right?
What's that?
DJ's playing.
Looks like he's only
yeah.
playing 2,200.
I'm
I don't know
surprised.
if he might have added on a little bit, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's got like 1,620s plus half a stack of black.
But he's got 3,000 in yellow in front of him as
No,
a
those-
bet.
No, he's got 2,200.
That's
stack.
Is that a $3,000  4-bet?
Yeah. Brian's going to be mad because he's probably going to win this hand on the flop.
All
with
right,
this.
so he has added on, and we don't know exactly how much he's playing.
How much is the pot here?
All right, now I'm just immensely confused with what's going on.
Okay, so Janet just made change for
Yeah.
615.
There was, what I presume it was there was, whatever, doesn't matter. DJ's just flatted here, so his stack size could be correct. 654, not a real fun flop for anybody with an overpair.
We're not putting
Oh,
anybody on
Stu
7
checks
here.
the
with
kings.
the-
Yeah, a 4-bet and check out of position. DJ in the tank.
I don't like giving Matt a free card here. Somebody has to bet, right? Matt's probably not calling with the ace queen, but if you give him a free card, you can both easily lose this pot here.
It's going to be a pretty small bet, it looks like.
No, 6, 7, 800.
800 into 2,000. 840.
I don't know what Stu's just, he knows he's calling, right?
Maybe not. As shallow as DJ is, if his stack size is correct.
Well, I think he's got a little more behind there, but I still think Stu's going to put in a big raise.
How
Yeah,
much?
he's
I think
asking.
Stu's asking right now.
How much, kind sir?
And he asked 5,000. That looked more like Dan's stack.
The Ninja add-on, not caught by the producers. It's an understandable thing that happens.
Stu's coming for no,
just a
calls.
call. He must be playing a little bit more than I think here.
For those of you who don't know, the yellow chips are $20, black chips are $100, of course, and the red are $5. White chips are 5,000. We call them flags because they're red, white, and blue. Good thing Matt folded because that queen would have got him in trouble. Check, check.
Not the greatest card on the end, but seeing what the
You specifically have to
pre-flop
put your
action.
opponent on pocket sevens, right? Check, check. Stu shows the king. DJ's like,
Pretty cagey way to win decent little pot here.
we're going to get an update on DJ's stack because I'm sure I saw more than 800 there. It looked like he
I
had
think-
4 stacks of 20s, which would have been 1,600. And I can't tell how many blacks and big chips he has on top of that.
JP Caesar in the chat, you have to be geolocated inside the state of Nevada to legally bet on the Play MGM.
Is it
app.
only Nevada? Can you do it in New Jersey also?
No,
Or
not yet.
Not
okay.
yet. working on it.
No sports betting in New Jersey at the moment.
But there are other states, like, is it Oregon that has sports betting?
No one yet.
There's paramutual.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
There's
yeah.
no other.
I thought somebody else had.
Betting other than the state
I
of
thought somebody
Nevada
else had
as of
sports
right
betting.
now. So there's a lot of scuttle out there right now that might get repealed here sometime soon. So
Business cards getting handed out by the retired gentleman in the 3-hole. If you're retired, what do you got the business card?
Ron's also got a really cool. Him and Andre Agassi are in business together.
Really?
Yeah, they have a company called Square Panda, and it's basically a learning tool for kids 2 to 8 that teaches them how to read. It's kind of a cool little thing. He showed me. You can check it out at squarepanda.com. Basically, it's a notepad or a tablet, and it has like little interchangeable letters and stuff that can be interchanged. And it tells the kids, what is this? Spell this word.
This is a great move right here. Joe Tian opens, and Brian 3-bets the button. Stu reaches over, and I think he's going to reach to see what the bet size is. He picks up the button to see what's on the button.
Is Brian O raising here to get
calculate his odds here?
That was cute.
But Stu doesn't have any odds on that. Brian does.
But he's hoping on. Do I need to defend this so I've got an opportunity to win it in 2 hands time? Cute.
Brian flops top pair. We don't know what Joe has.
3-bet the button, flop top pair. Pretty fair deal. C-bet coming from Brian here. No.
Wow.
Check back.
Oh, and Joe has 9s. Joe's gonna should bet here right.
You like that check back there?
No. I'm not a favor of giving ace king, ace queen a free shot at a card.
That's fair.
Because what do you do now if the ace comes off or a queen comes off on the turn with your hand?
I think Joe's pretty compelled here to call at least one street.
Right. There's no reason why Joe probably doesn't think, though, he has the best hand there with the way the hand played out. Brian, I mean...
I think he believes he has the best hand a decent percentage of the time, for sure. Value bet time for Brian. 2,500 in the pot. How much is he going to go for here? Looks like most
14,
of it.
1,600.
Healthy bet of 1,600.
Yep.
Joe hasn't had too many easy spots this evening.
He hasn't. It's been some weird spots. The only easy spot he had was with the deuces. The queens was a tough spot, but he found a great laydown with them. It wouldn't be beyond Brian thinking that a hand like ace king or ace queen was good here if that's the hand he had, right? And Joe looks him up. And Brian wins the money on the button.
Perfect result, if you ask Brian.
Picked up an extra, looks like 240. Nothing wrong with that. Ron gets to start the button again.
Stu looks furious that he let that button money go.
So I was talking about
Square
Ron's,
Panda.
yeah, but Phil Knight is also like one of his partners in the company, right? Like, and Tom, I think his name is Berkeley, the guy that owns PT's Pubs here in Las Vegas. Like they got a huge, like it's a big deal. They're in 400 schools. Next year they go into 6,400 schools in China or stores in China with the thing.
Wow. Now you're saying the guy that owns PT's, is he the sole owner?
It was his idea, but he is not the sole owner. They are all partners in the company.
Okay. Is he privately owned though?
Yes.
Nice.
The guy, I think his name is Tom Berkeley, I think, from PT's. He went and got a guy from, a computer guy from California to put it all together for him the way he wanted it. And he's the CEO of the company. Ron gave me his name, but I forgot to write it down. It's kind of a cool thing. Speaking of Ron, he's got ace king on the button. He's going to win his own $100 back here, I feel.
3 bets it to 340 after the open from Josh.
Josh raised at 120.
Josh has been pretty active here.
Has Ron lost a pot? Yeah, he's lost 1 pot.
I mean, he just kind of declined to c-bet 1 and just let it go when he whiffed a flop. But as far as pots he's put significant money into, he's picked them all up. That's an easy game.
That's a pretty
right
good
there.
flop for Ron's hand. I mean, I don't know how he could get much better. That's a good card for Ron's hand too. The ace on the turn.
I don't think Ron's going to be able to check back 2 streets here.
It's this is kind of a weird spot, right? Because if you check back the 2 streets and try not to represent a flush because you want your opponent to put some money in, maybe they've had a hand strong enough they think that you don't have a flush, they check raise you. And Josh obviously doesn't have anything, so because he folds there.
It's the least likely series of events for you to play a big pot with the stone nuts. You know, you'd rather put some money in and guarantee yourself the opportunity.
One of my favorite comments by poker players is like, I don't understand how you played that hand. Because you don't win big pots with the nuts. Like if you want to win big pots, you need 6, 7, 5, 7. You know, you need those hands in there or something.
You needed cooler people.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ's $770 figure.
That's not the right number.
That can't be right.
I will.
I can see 1,600 in front of me.
I will venture that DJ would rather quit the game than continue playing it with only $700 effective.
Kind of
1,600 plus some yellow chips.
Yeah,
on
so he's
top,
probably got
5K
between about 5K.
Unless he's just got a mountain of flags hidden from view.
Again, flags are 5K chips. They're red, white, and blue. What's the origin of the name? I mean, I know why we call them flags, but who started
just
it?
the
just red, white, and blue.
I mean, it's back from the Mirage days that they called them flags.
Okay.
So, DJ opening the 2 10s here. Joe comes along with the 7-6 of hearts, as does Ron, trying to flop the nut flush and spades for the second hand in a row.
But he's just flopped enough to win this spot here.
Pair versus pair versus pair.
I like Ron's pair in this situation.
That's a fair thing.
I might change my mind on the turn, though.
1 check to Joe, and he fires 3rd pair here.
Was Joe the pre-flop raiser?
No, DJ opened
was.
first in. Although the graphics showing him being in the big blind, which now has me ultimately confused.
DJ is the big blind because Stu is the button.
So Joe did open first in. You were correct.
Flops the pair, continues.
So Joe opened and Dan just flatted with the 2 10s.
And Ron raised here with
took
the
the low
ace.
variance route and got out of there on the ace high flop.
Joe's calling. Wow.
Fair turn for the 7-6.
I would actually like a check raise here out of Joe, but Ron
Not going to get the
bet,
chance. Now, is Joe just trying to get the showdown here? Or
Yeah,
does he know his
what
hand
does he
is no
think
good?
that Ron raised with there on that board? I mean, that he didn't hit. I mean, or that Ron bet on that board that he didn't hit, excuse me. You know what I mean? Like, 7-8 got there. He probably would have bet any ace. He's going to try and bet his 6 here for value, but Ron's probably calling for the value with his ace.
Joe's only hope here is to represent a bigger ace now.
Right. But he's first to act now, and Ron's got position on him, so
680? No.
2640. That's a good bet, though.
That's a pot.
That's a pot-size bet.
That's a great bet by Joe.
The $20 chips and the yellow chips, $1,000 chips, have a tendency to be confused at distance from each other. So, no, not a $600 bet.
I like that bet by Joe. It's not an easy spot for Ron.
Yeah, let's see if Ron
by
can
no
figure
means.
this one out.
Hey, let's
He's
go.
going to let it go. He's got to think he's got a better ace there, you know, when he calls the bet on the flop. Did he show? He showed the 1 card. Which one did he show? Interesting.
Either card being shown is a good
That's
card.
poker
to show.
playing right there. Nice job, Joe. Sometimes you don't have to have the best hand to win in poker. I've heard that before, anyway. Len is thinking again.
He should try not to do that. Discussing the dynamics of what he owes to the button for the button game.
We haven't really heard a lot of trash talk out of Len yet, but I got a funny feeling we'll hear some more.
Oh, we got some earlier. For sure we did.
Yeah. He is the best trash talker in all of poker.
Yeah. Wait till he wins a couple more pots and he gets what we used to call chirping chips.
Yeah. Yeah. Several years ago, he was in a pot limit Omaha game up in the high limit section during the World Series. The mixed game next to him gets into a pretty heated argument.
Oh, an
about
argument in
some
the mixed game?
Minutia.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it.
And Lynn turns to these guys and unsolicited says, you guys.
I love where this is going.
I just don't get it. You guys, you're just so mad all the time. You're drawn to the nuts every single hand. You never get there. Why don't you boys come over here? Play some PLO. Everybody's got the nuts every hand. You'll have a great time.
That's my problem with PLO. Because everybody always has the nuts every hand.
Needless to say, the mixed game players did not appreciate.
I appreciate
the
Len saying it for the rest of us. We don't know what Joe has. Len's got a gut shot
So
here.
Lynn opens and c-bets the flop with the wheel draw. Joe check calls flop, checks turn. Lynn declines to fire a second barrel.
Joe's got a king.
Could have played a big pot with a slightly different run out.
Okay, there you go. That's like saying if the turn card was different, I would have won the pot. The coulda, shoulda, woulda of poker. Like,
That's all there is.
I was playing a poker tournament in town on
Oh, here he
Thursday.
goes with another bad beat
No,
story.
it's not a bad beat story. But there's always that guy at the table that, like, every bad call he makes, he has to explain. Like, I had pot odds. Sir, at no point in this hand were you getting 11-1 to call off all the chips, with bottom pair. At no point was that happening. He calls the check raise with bottom pair and gets there on the turn. Like, I thought he was bluffing because he didn't bet the flop. The check raise is never a bluff anymore, right?
Screw you guys. I thought I was getting there.
It's just the most, and he builds up his stack from 12,000 to like 200,000 in the first 6 levels, and then just apparently the horseshoe fell out and it just chipped away, and he started losing all these big pots trying to play the same way he'd been playing all night. But every time he won a pot, he had a reason why he should have played the hand like that. It was awesome. You got to love that guy at your table, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
except that you have to listen to him. Like, you want him there to play, but that's what John and I were talking about that earlier. Like, I wear headphones all the time. John says he wears earplugs.
I used to. But the thing is, there's a certain image. If you're wearing just foam, boring earplugs, not connected to a cable of some kind that implies it might be able to listen to an electronic device. If you're just wearing foam earplugs, you just by default look like a grumpy, no fun allowed kind of guy.
Is that your style when you play, John?
No, that's my style in life in general.
I was gonna say,
Sure.
how does that not suit you? So, like, I mean, why would you care if you
When I'm playing, I have to make it a social outing. Like, I have to be the guy talking to people.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking to people, but I hate the discussion of hands afterwards. Like, just win the pot.
Oh, I didn't say we
sir.
had to talk about the last
Yeah,
hand.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, to me,
No, like, I enjoy having a good time talking to people. Quite often in Vegas, where none of us are from here, we run into people, at poker games from where our old hometowns and stuff like that. So I love to chat. I just don't like to listen to why I did this. And my least favorite term in poker is I had to call. you had to do nothing. At no point was there a gun to your head that made you have to call.
Risk-free takedown of the button money from DJ. Len
Gonna flip
opens,
one over.
DJ threes, and wins.
For those of you at
the
home
pot and the button.
watching Len turn up his opponent's cards there, generally not an accepted practice.
No, but they are
a practice
playing-
that might get you thrown out for the night.
Right.
But they are playing. You
Punched
must
in
show
the
one.
face
Yeah,
in some circles.
Yeah, everybody
So,
has agreed to
don't-
show one card when they win a pot. So
Don't try that in your home game unless previously agreed upon.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that your mom getting mad at you again?
What?
That was the first thing that came out.
Non sequiturs and bad beat stories from Mr.
No,
Dallas.
no
Scott.
bad beat stories. I try to tell those.
You know, I got to be honest. The thing I really cannot bear is the sports betting.
Bad beat stories.
Bad beat stories.
Oh, I think they're worse than.
Oh man,
They're worse than
that
poker
fumble.
bad beat stories. When the guy's got a 14 parlay.
Matt's got ace jack on the button. He might win his own 100. We don't know what Len has. Len raised the 140. Matt just flatted on the.
You know, the problem with Len getting his cards on the card reader is that he is, if you can't tell from the video, he's about 11 and a half feet tall. So just when he's all scrunched up in this chair, his arms just by default go halfway across the layout. So that's where his hands with his cards in them end up being.
Now that you mentioned it, look how big his fingers are. Like he really is.
It's
like
crazy. Right after he got married, he had this wedding ring on, and like he's so skinny, but he has these massive knuckles. So he had to like jam it over his knuckle to get the ring on his finger. But then once it was over the knuckle, it just rattled around because there was nothing to keep it filled in.
Looks like we got a couple players walking. Ron, Josh Seeley, and Brian Oaken.
Speak of the devil, Josh is back. And gone again.
Our 10, 20, 40, 10, 5, 10, and bigger no limit games are all time games. So all players will be dealt into a hand until they miss a blind. Because you'll see Janet deal people in who aren't at the seat, and that's because all time games you paid for the seat, you're entitled to your hand until you missed a blind. Len's first to act. He looks like he's trying to find the reader.
Looks like Josh might be quitting the game. He's had enough.
All right, we got an alternate. Who's coming in tonight?
We shall see.
Brian declines to call out of the blind with the king 10 offsuit. This dude's got ace 3.
Harry's telling us that unfortunately Josh had a family emergency of some kind. I hope everything's all right. Hope to see you again sometime.
Yeah, because Josh said he wants to come back tomorrow. We do have a stream tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, Pacific. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Not specific.
Yeah.
Specifically Pacific. Looks like Art Parman's going to be our alternate
I
swinging
like
in.
Art. Art's a good guy.
Gloucester, Virginia. Been in Vegas for 9 years.
Art is a regular in our 10, 20, 10, 20, 40, 25, 50, 50, 100, whatever game they decide to play up top that day.
What was your biggest score last week at Dragon Ridge, which is a local country club? It says plus. Either says plus 25 or plus 35. Now that's either sarcastic that he won $25 or he drummed these boys on the golf course.
Plus 25. I thought he was like he shot over 25. 25.
Yeah, some guys would.
Have you played that course, John?
I have. I played it a couple times. Actually, our 8 seed Matt Moore is a member there, and was out of the kindness of his heart took me out there and managed to only beat me out of the minimum. So.
Where's this, Dragon Ridge?
Yeah, yeah. Him and his partner go birdie birdie. Forced me to make birdie to not lose about 30 bets.
Oh, jeez. So you made birdie?
By some miracle. I bogeyed every hole and found a way to get on in regulation and one putt it for just to rob Matt of all that beautiful money. Had a good time doing it too.
And the universe knew you couldn't afford it, so they let you off.
Yeah, it could have been a very expensive free round of golf. Joe opening the queen 10, getting no love. Lynn out of the blinds here defends. Joe's going to put in a C bet. Looks like Lynn's coming along.
Can't see Lynn's hand, but I got to believe he has at least some type of pair here. There's no flush draw, no straight. I mean, maybe 4 or 5. Calling for the gut shot.
Yeah, Joe picks up the Broadway draw.
It's a gut shot to the jack. Check, check. All right. I didn't see what Lynch had
Confirms,
done.
beats queen high.
Nice hand, sir. Nice hand.
10-8, flops
10 and
second
10,
pair, and holds on for dear life.
10 8 spades, my favorite hand. It used to be. I feel like I lose more. I quit playing it because I feel like I lose more money with that hand than any other hand.
Those look like the chips for our new player. And it looks like a pile of them to boot.
Giving Brian the opportunity to post back into the game. Or Art. Or Ron, I'm sorry.
One of them boys.
Yeah, all Bellagio games you must post in. I know a lot of people find that weird, but there's a great reasoning for that, and I think like it's something I never thought about until somebody told me.
Yeah.
And that is, why would you give somebody position on you for free?
Well, that's absolutely the reason why in the higher stakes games you force people to post, yeah. But, a lot of rooms, they say, oh, in this small a game you don't have to post. But here's the thing. We have so many different limits that run all the time. Instead of having the argument about where's going to be the cutoff for where you must post versus what games can you come in for free, we just say, look, treat every single game the same, must post all games.
Oh, great
Royal
flop for
flush
Ron.
draw for Ron.
We haven't seen a royal on this stream yet.
Yeah. So Joe just cold opens to 200, and Ron comes along. Joe's going to C-bet.
Ron's going to flat.
Joe might
as
be a
he
little
should.
steamed up from losing a couple small ones here. We definitely have not seen a royal on the stream yet, have we?
No, I don't think we've seen a royal or a straight flush.
Well, as usual, he's got the maximum number of outs to the royal. Got him. Joe fires a second barrel with the mystery hand here as our side camera gets checked into the board. Sorry about that.
River 7 of hearts.
That's an interesting
that's an
one.
interesting card.
Joe checks.
He's gonna bet something here for some type of value. If Ron bets and he gets check raised, what does he do?
Throw up.
Looks like he bet 2,000 into a $3,100 pot. I don't know what Joe has, but this might be an easy lay. Should probably be an easy lay down for him.
Ace queen type hand, very possible.
Very possible. Maybe queen 10.
9 high. Saving face.
So I talked to our producer, Matt. He said that Joe was our chief offender for not showing his cards to the reader.
Yeah.
For the evening.
Oh, I thought it was Len for sure.
Nope. Joe's a winner.
When Gumby arms Ashby. Stretch Armstrong. That's a
He
call.
calls.
If you're just calling, you can't win. Mystery hand fired into the muck. The busted royal flush draw must take all the money.
And so something like that's kind of interesting they do on our we don't really allow time pots except in the mixed games. We have time flops in the no limit game. So 10, 20, 40 game. It's a gamble.
It's credit card roulette for the time charge.
Right. It's first card off the deck, whatever seat that represents, ace through 9, pays the time for the entire table. If the 6 comes up, the 6 seats pays it. 3 comes up, 3 seat pays, and so on. But if there are no low cards on the board, we continue to run cards out after the hand to decide who pays. I've seen 7 cards, all face cards once before.
Did he give the 8th card before they found the winner?
On the 8th card, on the 8th
loser
card,
of the time
yeah.
flop?
And the 8th card was a 9. Like it was there were like 4 straights on the 4 Broadway straights on the board. Something stupid. Matt's gonna.
Man, it's folded all the way to the $20 blind,
And he's
Matt's
raised
gonna
to
open the
160.
queen jack.
Joe's called.
Serial offender actually gets his cards read, defending with the natural 9. Open-ended versus Squadouche.
Match a continuation, and Joe probably has no reason to call here. Nope.
No time wasted. On to the next.
Add some more money to the button. And you see DJ taking money away. It's because he's just going to add a black chip to it. He's just making his own change. Because otherwise the button gets really stacked high.
So we just got word from the producers. We got 6 hands remaining for the evening, about 6 more hands, and then we're going to shut it down, kick it back off tomorrow night.
Again,
Tune back in.
Yeah,
Check us out
tomorrow
here
night
Bellagio
at
Pots.
7 o'clock Pacific time.
Yep.
I'm your host, Dallas Scott. Co-host is John Harden. And the director of poker and racing sports, Mr. Craig Lump, is our... You might as well be a co-host, too.
Thank you for the promotion. I appreciate that.
So we finally got Art here for the for the last 6 hands of the night.
Looks like Art's got...
He's loaded up for
6.
bear.
He's about
That looks
8 to
like a
10.
pile of chips.
Looks like he's about 8 to 10,000 in front of him.
Yeah, unless he's got a pile of flags below it. Stu's first in here with the king 10 of diamonds.
DJ calls with the
Len
deuces.
flatted here in the cutoff, and then DJ called with 2 deuces.
Of course he's calling. He's got the button. And deuces have flop sets every time tonight.
2 for 3.
Not a bad flop for Stu's hand. He's got the gut shot and the over. And there are spades on the board.
3
Check, check,
checks.
check. That hand's probably going to kill action.
Art peeled here in the big blind with the 9 tray and makes 9s up.
He's like, I just got here on the stream. We might as well just play some cards. Len is calling, or did he raise there? Len called
One
3
just
on it.
flats.
Oh,
Nine's
wow.
full.
9's full of trays. Well done, Art. Well done. Way to get in the game. Oh, Len at ace 10.
700 fired straight in the muck.
Got to show 1. Oh, he's like, I'll
Just
show both.
here, boys. Either one beats you.
Ha ha, I got you.
Easy peasy. Play 1 hand, win yourself $500.
Looks like Len's got 1,400, 14,000. Wow, it's pretty close here in the amount of chips. We've had some pretty decent sized pots, though. Look at the Bellagio poker room. Hey, there's our old friend Mike Macy. We need to get him on the stream again.
Mike, flop a set and never
Marley.
pick up the
She's
money.
been on the stats a few times. On this show a few times.
Busy little Sunday evening here in the Bellagio poker room.
Is the game still on?
No
Whatever
clue.
the late game was?
No clue. Looks like a dealer change here. Chrissy's
Chrissy's
in the box.
back in the box. Redskins win 27-10. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't get that 5th bet in this week on the Play MGM app. I've been 0 for 5. That's like, man. I would have thought the Steelers was a lock today, though, against the Raggedy Bears. Like, I just,
Any given Sunday, that's what they say, right?
do we know if the Chargers beat the Chiefs or the Chiefs won that game? Oh, great. I get a little bit of money back from a side bet with a friend.
Stu and Lynn heads up here with the pair of mystery hands.
King Jack Trey on the flop.
Stu firing the C bet 140 into about 400. Just bet and
Lynn
take it.
gives it up. Again, we have a game tomorrow night. It would be 10, 20, 40. I believe we have a really good lineup for you guys tomorrow night. Harry, our producer, will post it on Twitter in just a little bit. Should be an action-filled game tonight. This game had some action early.
Yeah.
Kind of slowed down a little bit later in the late rounds of it. Is that confirmed? All right, so we have Art Allen, Matt Hammond, Lance Steinberg, Brian is coming back, Stu, Matt Moore is coming back, Joe Tehan is coming back. So we're gonna have a great lineup for you tomorrow. All right, Len's raised to 160. Joe's gonna call here.
Opening a 3-bet here. 660 and Lynn just flats. Another head up flop here. Discussion about whether guys have their M Life cards logged in to get their $2 an hour in comps.
Len's gonna play one more hand, he says. He checks. Flop a 7, 8, 10.
Check bet fold. Pick up the button money, show the paint, on to the next.
Is this our last hand of the night, I believe, coming up here?
No, we'll get about 15 more minutes of this
Okay.
stream just from our producer. Yeah, but looks like another orbit. Looks like Glenn's raising up his last hand here, huh?
That's what you do. You announce it's your last hand.
And then
it's-
raise?
Yeah. Flop, pick up a monster and then raise. Art's got a pair of threes. He's calling on the button. Brian O folds the A7, 8-7. Ron's calling the King Jack and the blind. And Stu is going to fold his 10-6
Wow.
diamonds.
Declines to be fifth in with the suited 10.
Good
I
lay
was
down,
just
Stu.
thinking that there was a set drought going on here. Art first pocket pair he gets dealt. Bangs
Art's
off
just
the
going to come in
set
a game and
position.
flop full houses or river full houses and flop sets.
Yeah. Makes it look like an easy game.
Joe and Len, the card reader offenders for the evening, who do not see their hands again.
What does Art do here? This board's pretty wet. There's spades, there's straight draws out there. He's
And,
probably
and
gonna
it's
raise.
just multi-way.
Yeah, he's got to raise, right?
380 to about 900.
It looks like Art raised. I just can't see how much he raised to 12.
Wow, 1,200. Okay. Get the game out of the mud. Chrissy, as Len's quitting the game, asks him if he's got a hot seat.
I wish we knew what Joe had so we could tell if this was a tough spot for him to be in.
Yeah.
He calls.
As the camera gets hip checked.
Ace of diamonds. Might be a bad card for Joe, especially if he had a hand like ace queen or ace 8.
Suited ace high spades.
Yeah. Looks like 1,000.
18.
18. Wow.
18 into about 3.
Got a pot.
Very
here.
fast call from Joe there.
DJ's got to feel good about, or Art's got to feel good about this hand, right? Like,
Yeah,
what is he putting Joe on anywhere here that?
If he's beat, it's pretty much a cooler.
Oh, Joe's got ace jack of spades, the hand you called.
Yeah.
Now, how much can Art bet for value here?
6K in the middle, and Art's got 6,500 left. Bets 3,500 of it.
That's got to tell Joe he's, Art's committed here, right? He's put too much of his chips in the pot.
Yeah. I don't think Joe's ever going to put the raise in with the one pair, but just another real fun spot for Mr. Tehan. No mercy from the runouts here. You know, he sniffed most of these out correctly so far this evening. Let's see if he gets another one right.
He's made some really good laydowns today.
The unfortunate part for him is this is Art's third hand,
Right.
fourth hand.
But he's played with Art quite a bit before.
Yeah. Call.
Call.
Throws in the call.
Call and insta-muck his hand.
Art's going to have the biggest win rate per hand of anybody that's ever played on this stream, unless he manages to double somebody up here in the next couple hands. Yeah, I win.
Easy
20
game on the stream.
I just win 29,000 an hour in this game. How could I quit it?
Art coming back to play tomorrow, guys?
Yes, it looks
Yeah,
like
he's in the lineup for
Looks
tomorrow.
like a plan.
Again tomorrow, kicking back off again, 10, 20, 40, no limit hold'em.
Yes.
At about start about 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Want to tune back in? Check us out here at BellagioPOTS.
Joe frustrated opens another one, it looks like. Art collecting after the fact is button money that he forgot to pick up last hand. Give me that.
How much was it? Did you see?
I think it was his own 100 getting it back.
DJ calls Joe's raise with the King Jack of Hearts. Joe bets.
C bet winner.
DJ folds.
Must be nice for old Art.
It's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow. We got a few of the same players coming, and then a couple of, I don't want to say loose players, because that may not, guys who like to gamble tomorrow. I actually saw one of the guys that's playing tomorrow last night ship a pot with 5 high. He did not win. The best part was it was 5K for 5 high. I'm sorry, he didn't. He shipped his stack. I'm sorry with a 5 high hand and lost 5,500 on the hand. 5 deuce he had.
Art think the 7 deuce game is on here?
Art don't care. Art just wins everything. Look at that pair. Pair and a flush draw.
Somebody asked and the nut flush draw.
Yeah.
Somebody asked us earlier to explain Taiwanese poker. Other than insane, it's kind of like a combination of Pai Gow, Hold'em, and Omaha, right? I mean, you said you get dealt 7 cards. You said a 1-card hand, a 2-card hand, and a 4-card hand. And then you play the 1-card hand against somebody else's 1-card hand, the 2-card hand against it. Oh, wait. Not only that, but there's 2 boards. Oh, our producer Harry is going to put a link in the chat. Because not only do you set a 1-card or 2-card and a 4-card hand, but you play 2 boards.
Why not?
And you play a 1-card hand, a Hold'em hand, and Omaha hands on both boards. And if you scoop your opponent, you get an extra 13 points. They call it the home run. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, somebody generally gets sick and throws up. And it can be played up to 4-handed. It's just, like, when I'm watching the game, there's just too much stuff to keep track of. Like, I just can't get involved in it.
I love Twitch 22. It's basically a 3-blind game. It's 10, 20, 40. All 3 of them are to the left of the button. Action starts to the left of it.
That's very good that all the blinds are left of the button.
Standard per our house rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that might be Nevada gaming.
I don't think so. They used to play 5-10 quarter on the button at the series. It was a mandatory button or a mandatory quarter, right?
Was it? It was a straddle though, right? That's a straddle. That's not a blind.
I thought it was a 3-blind game. I thought it was a compulsory.
I thought it was a.
Who cares?
Mandatory straddle. I remember that game. Then they played it. It was a Omaha. They played it in Omaha too. John, you and I have been down in Mississippi a lot.
That's the way PLO is always played, as far as I knew
Right.
until I got out here. Like, what do you mean? There's 2 blinds and they're up front.
And one of the
Nobody
things I
straddles.
love about people, like, there's a Mississippi straddle and a button straddle. They are 2 completely different things.
And the Mississippi straddle is not allowed in Biloxi, Mississippi.
That was what you ruined my point, my punchline here, because you cannot Mississippi straddle in Mississippi.
I'm getting this one over with, ripping it off like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, you can straddle on the button in PLO games, but a Mississippi straddle is a straddle from any position. Whoever wants to straddle on the table can straddle and take lax action pre-flop. A button straddle is obviously a straddle in a button. But I don't know why they call it Mississippi straddle, because it is illegal in Mississippi. Mississippi gaming does not allow you to do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No, you can do it in Tunica, right?
Can you do it in Tunica?
Yeah.
I know you can't do it in Biloxi.
Yeah, no, you.
And it's Hold'em you can't do
have-
it in. You can do it in Omaha.
No. The $1-2 no limit hold'em game at the Gold Strike, which is now closed, but I remember tilt monkeying off about $1,500 in that game, straddling every single hand for about 2 hours.
Okay, so
But
that's the
so
funny
it's
thing about
Tunica
Mississippi is they
straddle,
have the
yeah.
North gaming board and
Yeah,
the South
and
gaming
they're
board.
separate.
I don't know any other state that has 2 gaming boards.
Good point from one of our chat here. You can't play Texas Hold'em in Texas.
You can play it, you just can't be
could
on
just
the
get
right
arrested.
side
Just
of
not
the
a
long
casino,
arm of the
yeah.
law.
Can't play Omaha in Omaha. You have to go across the river to Council Bluffs.
Yeah. Art putting in the 3-bet here after it's gone open call. Call. With the 2 queens, $660.
We don't know what Stu has, but DJ has a queen in his hand. Queen 8 of spades. Is he defending this on the button? Maybe it depends on what Stu does to give him odds here. Looks like Stu is
Just calling.
calling.
DJ gets out of the way.
Do you know of any other states that has 2 gaming commissions?
Not that I know of.
Mississippi has a north and south.
Well, like,
think.
there's places like New Jersey where it's not the entire state. It's just, or is it the New Jersey Gaming Commission?
It's the
just
New
happens
Jersey
that
Gaming
it's
Commission.
Only in
No, they voted on it.
AC.
It's something that they voted last year to add gaming to northern New Jersey, and it was voted down, which is good for Atlantic City because that city is dying as it is. Because Philadelphia, Maryland. There's a lot of places that aren't driving tourists to Atlantic City to gamble anymore because they have gambling in their own towns. I don't know why states don't allow
Our friends
gambling.
at Borgata Poker are just crushing it, though.
Well, that's
I mean, that's
they
one of the
are
marquee
the
rooms.
enigma in
Sure.
Atlantic City because no matter you go in there on a Thursday night, they do $500 every 15 minutes for high hands. There are 90 tables going at poker. It's how crazy is that?
Got another player coming in here. Who do we got here? Is that Alan Hugh? Alan Hugh.
Now
Alan
in the
Hugh.
game, but I think for only one hand.
I'm betting this game is going to continue after this.
Sure, they're probably going to keep playing.
Yeah. Austin, Texas, playing poker for 12 years, 2 years in Las Vegas.
Ron is he first? He's not first act there, right?
I think somebody bought the button here. Is that
Joe
possible?
bought the buttons. Why the?
Okay.
That's when I explained buying the button.
Buying the button is easy. You miss your blinds. You have to post back in. It's
Pay
just
all
easy.
3 blinds at once?
Yeah, just pay, and you buy the button, so you get the button next hand. But we actually have this really unique thing here at the Bellagio too. You can actually post in between the small blind and the button. You just will not receive the button the next
But
hand.
you can't do that with a missed blind button.
That is correct.
Well, I guess you could post 2 dead blinds and pass on getting the button the next hand, but who would do that?
Right. But when you originally sit down in the game, you can actually post in between the small blind and button, but you will not receive the button the next hand.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a loaded hand here. Like, all these people playing this
No,
hand?
there's just a little lag in the graphics layout here. Long story short, Art's going to
Win another pot.
bet 2 streets, including pre-flop and flop a gutter, and win it all. Win it all.
I think you're right. He might have the all-time greatest
Poor
win rate
guy's
in the
winning
stream.
like 7,500 since he sat down 9 minutes ago.
That's how you
And
play
this year,
poker,
the
right?
last hand for the evening.
Okay, this is the last hand. Let's see if we get some fireworks going off.
Yep, some discussions to continue the game after
Yep, and add
the
a player.
conclusion of the stream.
Lance is gonna. The Lance that they're talking about is going to be on the stream tomorrow with us.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
Lance Steinberg.
Can I say beef
Beef
jerky on TV? I guess out of context, it's okay.
Art to call 130. Joe called 8-6 off. Is he on the button? Yes, he's defending his button. Money. 2 hearts on the flop.
So it looks
Decent
like
flop for Ron.
Stu open, call.
Ron's betting.
Ron's going to fire here with the 6-high flush draw. Stu lets his pre-flop open out of the way, and Joe is stuck between a rock and a hard place with 8-high. Just gives it up. That's how you win a pot with 6-high in a 3-way pot, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, was that our last hand of the night?
Last one or one more? Buttons in the 1 hole.
All right, again, this is Bellagio Pots. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host, John Harden. And our director of poker and racing sports, Mr. Craig Lump, is here with us also, as always. If you want to be on the stream, hit us at Bellagio Poker on Twitch. On Twitter. And we're at poker at Bellagio Resort on email.com. On email. All right, Alan's first to act here.
It's already out of the way. Folded to Joe, and he's going to be opening here. Three bet from Art here. Hasn't won quite enough money as far as he's concerned.
All right, we actually don't know what's going on here. If this is the last hand or not.
And Joe opens. Art 3 bets. Joe calls, heads up to a flop with a pair of mystery hands.
Looks like, what's
No.
the bet?
It
420.
looks like Stu still got a hand here on the 4 seat. No, heads up to a flop. $560 two ways.
9-9 deuce flop. I think we should change it from the 7 deuce game to the 9 deuce game.
For just no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Just because we feel like it.
Yeah. Like, why in Super Stud the game isn't effectively changed? Why do they switch the high?
Invert the bring in.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me. Like I get it when you change the game, but it's the same game. It's still stud, and we're just giving you 2 more down cards. Why is the high hand bringing in as opposed to the low, like every other game?
I think it might just be because a guy with a low door card and stud 8 or better is more likely in super stud to be able to construct a hand that he's more likely to continue with. And so you want a guy that's basically putting more likely just pure dead money. And I don't know. I don't really think it makes a huge difference either way, but you know, if you go back to the theory of poker being a competition over blinds and antes, you know, people obviously think it has merit. Negligible difference as far as I'm concerned.
Super stud, for those who don't know, it's stud, but you get 4 down cards as opposed to 2, and you must throw away 2 cards when you put money into the pot.
Make a 3rd street hand before 4th street, otherwise
Yes.
your hand's dead.
Yeah, yes. If you get caught with 4 down cards or
Yeah.
any more than 2 down cards at any other street, your hand is automatically dead. So Allen's going to be the big blind. No, it does not have the same ring to it. I have to agree. DJ is 40 to call. He's under the gun. Nope. No.
Joe just refuses to let a hand go for the last 20 minutes or so. Is opening another one.
All right. Joe opens a 70. Ron looks like is he calling or raising there? Oh, he's putting
Hands
money.
over.
Yeah, he's putting the money on the button. Making change on the button. And again, the button game is everybody puts money. When the button's in front of you, you must put money under the button, whatever the agreed amount money is. Something. I think they're starting with the first person has to put 40, then it's or 100, then it's 40, 40, 40. Sometimes they just do 100, and only the person on the button can win that money if they win the pot, which makes for some very interesting.
Kicks up the action a little bit.
Yeah, it makes it the button defend even wider than they normally would.
Sure.
Or even, raising pre-flop wider than they probably normally would. Art raised to 140 with a queen 7 of hearts. I'm just going to give him the pot right now because I don't think he's lost the pot since he sat down.
Putting on a clinic.
Flop to 7. Got a continuation bet here, right? No. Art checks.
Ron 3-bet this pre.
Okay.
It went 140 to 460. Art has a pair, so he's not going anywhere. 600 and a call on this flop.
How about a 4? A 6. Okay, that's... Check. Now the 4. Nah. But Ron can represent an ace here, right?
Absolutely.
If Art checks, Ron bets represents the ace.
Can't win it with 5 high. Must fire.
Yep.
Looks like 1,500.
The only thing Art can beat is
Shut
a bluffed, and he wasn't being bluffed. Whoa. Give Ron back his button money. There you go. Slow down, Chrissy. Slow down. He earned that money with a bluff there. And yes, for those who are asking, yes, we kind of do allow a lot of crazy things here in the games. What does Craig say? We never discourage action.
Yeah.
Like I learned on one of my first trips to Las Vegas when someone said, son, gambling is legal in this
Yes.
town.
You can straddle a straddle here. So if the blinds are 10, 20, 40, you can make it 80, 160, 320, 640, 1280. You can straddle around the table. So, yes, we don't discourage action at all. I've seen just some crazy games. Did you know we had?
Here they're giving Art a hard time for playing every hand, but he picks up a hand.
He does. He's picked up a
So
lot of
far.
hands.
And he shows just hey guys,
Did
so
you
you know I got a
know-
real hand.
That right now we have Dubai royalty playing in our poker room.
No kidding.
Yeah. Did Brian leave the game, or is he just?
No,
not
his
saying-
sweatshirt's still there. I think he's just taking a short little walkabout. He's getting dealt in, so he might become
Yeah.
screaming around the corner here.
And for those of you asking why Brian's being dealt in again, this is a time game. The rake is time rake, and so all players get dealt into the hand until they miss their blind. You've paid for the seat. You're entitled to your hands. One thing too, people always come up and ask for like dinner break buttons. We don't do that here. We give you an hour and 15 minutes to take dinner break. The dealers mark how long you've been gone by giving you buttons every time a new dealer sits down. So there's no need to come up and look for a dinner break plaque or button. It's automatically accounted for by the dealers. And we give you an hour and 15 minutes.
It's a little different here than some other poker markets
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. If you're in a time game, they will to collect time in your seat.
Yep. You're renting the seat. You're not renting the hands
Right.
you're getting dealt.
So you will pay time in those seats. We only charge them for 3 times though, right? The third time, we don't charge time anymore on that, right?
Well, we pick you up.
Right.
Yeah. After you're picked up, you don't have to pay time anymore.
No, but even like in the
No,
the mixed game, sometimes like those guys are gone a little bit longer. Oh, no raise with the queen 7 also. Which is the worst hand in poker? 7 deuce or queen 7?
Queen 7, you can make a whole mess of straights with. Come on now. It's a powerful hand.
You can make a whole mess of. Can you make more straights with the queen 7 6 gapper than you can the 7 deuce?
You can make bigger straights.
Oh, there you go.
You can make everything from a
Bigger straights beat smaller.
7 high straight to an ace high
Matt
straight.
raises with the king 10 of clubs
Art 3 betting.
with the 6-4 of clubs.
Correct. Time is each half hour. That's a pretty fair flop for the 6-4, aside from the suits.
3 diamonds already on board.
Matt's going to check call 500 with the top pair here. Blank on the turn. Art deciding whether or not to fire another barrel. He accepts. Looks like ballpark of 1,000. 880.
Art's just come to play, right? He's just putting in chips. And when you win 7,000 the first 2 hands, you continue to do that, right? This is an interesting spot for Art because even though Matt has top pair, he might have thought that Art was betting the ace of diamonds.
Very plausible narrative. But once again, you have 6 high. How do you want to pot? Fire, fire, fire.
This is a tough call for Matt.
Almost a pot size bet there from Art, huh? Or 2,000 into a 30.
2,000 to about 3,500.
Yep.
60%.
Not quite pot size bet here.
A nice value-ish amount. Cracking jokes while his opponent is in the tank.
All right, what's your guess here, guys? Is he going to fold or call?
I think he calls him. I think Matt really believes he has the best hand here. I think the only thing he's truly worried about is that Art was betting the ace of diamonds
There's just not a lot of hands that a naked pair of kings beats that's in Art's legitimate 3-betting range.
Let it go.
Well done. Another manufactured pot from the left side of the table. We've seen Ron win a couple with 5 and 6 high. We've now seen Art win a couple with.
And Art
5
is
and 6
laughing
high.
at Matt. I think Art just came here to put the table on tilt.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night he
Setting
completely
the
changed.
stage.
Yeah. Again, tomorrow night we'll be on from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time, like normal. We have about half these guys coming back. We got a really interesting game tomorrow because we got some gamblers coming in. Some guys that aren't from Vegas that are going to be in town tomorrow, and we'll just want to play some poker with these guys and see how they fare. All right, Ron's under the gun with ace queen. This is going to be easy raise. DJ does not call with a 6-4.
Matt on the button with the 2 deuces, calling third in.
All right, deuces have flop sets 3 out of 4 times.
Art can't possibly.
Or 2 out of 3 times.
Man, found a fold with the 5 high. It's going to go off 4 ways.
Looks like
Queen
we don't know what
8-7.
Allen has, but looks like
Ron's
it's
got an easy C bet here, even though he's going into 3 opponents. Bet and take it.
and I think he showed the queen for his 1 card that he had to show.
They're talking about moving the cameras around. You do see them kind of rock back and forth like they're in a boat from time to time. It's a little bit tight. You get over in that corner of the room. Unfortunately, this is a setup that we have to put up and take down every time we run a show. So this is a dual purpose area. We do normally have regular occurring cash games on this table. So the extra space needed to run the cameras and the cabling and everything, we just kind of have to make lemonade out of lemons. Not a purpose-built space.
All right, and that's it for the night, guys.
All right. Again, tomorrow we'll be on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific to 10 p.m. Pacific. I'm Dallas Scott, your host. John Hart's the co-host, director of poker and racing sports, Mr. Craig Lump. Thank you guys again for watching Bellagio Poker on the Strip on Twitch.